All right, ladies and gentlemen, how you doing? As always, we're here today to talk football. Well, this time more specifically, we're here to talk transfers because there are a lot of transfer rumors that have happened in this last couple, not just last couple of weeks, but specifically this week and late last week. And there's just a lot that we want to talk about. So I'm joined here today by. Actually, you know what? I'm going to let you all introduce yourselves as well. If you want to plug yourself, go ahead and do so.
Yeah, so my name is Nagels123. I was already here in the last discussion, and I just think all this news I had to join today for this kind of discussion because as Daniel said, I'm guest as well.
I'm Daniel. Just like Noggles, I was here last week, and then just like Noggles, I had to join just because of the news, because I'm gassed. Best transfer week I've seen in a while.
So, with everyone gassed, seemingly, what should we start with? Is it the big? Should we start with the big one, the most important one, the one that came out today?
Yeah.
All right.
With most.
Matthijs de Ligt to Bayern. What's everyone's immediate reaction?
Go ahead, Daniel.
For me, best young center back in the world still. I'll take him all day. Like, people worry about the fee or the wages, and like you can like pin me on this because last week I was talking about wages and like transfer fees last week. Right now, it's not my money, so I don't care. I'm taking him all day. He's so good because I wanted him since he was at Ajax, and then I had a feeling Bayern are still watching him. So I'm so happy with this because he's a leader that we need at the back. He's young. He can stay for a long time. So I think this is something we needed.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think maybe one of the best transfer we could have made, actually, if it goes through. Actually, yeah, if it goes through, one of the best transfer we can make. Like this guy, bro, he's like 22 still, and he was a captain of Ajax with like 14. Feels like he was 14 back then. It's crazy to think that if he joins Bayern, he's here to stay, right? There's no way he would he's using us as some type of career. Stepping stone, you know what I mean? Like he would be here to be like one of the leaders of the team. I'm so gassed. Like I want this to happen so bad. I would immediately buy a kid. And I didn't even know that, right? Last week I wasn't even that gassed, but just knowing that we have a chance, crazy.
Fair enough. Tausif, welcome. Thanks for joining us. If you want to plug yourself, go ahead. But what are your thoughts on the big news that came out today? Matthijs de Ligt to Bayern.
Hello lads. Thanks for having me again. I hope you're all well. Yeah, I was kind of, let's just say, surprised by the news. I did not see it coming whatsoever. I haven't followed Matthijs de Ligt in the past few years, ever since he joined Juventus, because I just thought he'd stay there for the next few years, or for like the majority of his career. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm just wondering how we are going to finance it. Prince, you said it I think on Twitter, where you said we have to sell Gnabry and Lewandowski. There probably is already a plan in motion to sell them.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it would not be realistic to have the transfers that we've already made in Sane. Here we go again, in Mane and Gravenberg, and then also talk about Laimer, Tel, and what's his name, Matthijs de Ligt. So it's going to be interesting to see how things unfold in the next few weeks, especially with some rumors circling around Mr. Cristiano Ronaldo Sui himself. So yeah. I'm very, very intrigued by that.
Okay, very interesting. We'll talk about wages not wages, but we'll talk about money in general in a bit, because I feel like maybe I can break it down a little bit on how I think this could be feasible.
Yeah.
RP, welcome. But I do want to say one thing, just because I've not said my thoughts on the Ligt. I'll keep it very short before we go, obviously, into a deep dive into how he could work at Bayern, so on and so forth. But my immediate thought when I saw this, honestly, it was, I don't believe it. And then I saw the source, and then I saw it was plenty. And I was like, oh, wait. okay, how does this work? How does this transfer work? Now, granted, you mentioned my tweet on Twitter where I said that either Lewandowski or Gnabry has to be sold now because I don't see how else we could finance this. But I wrote that before I saw the news about Pavard. And we'll talk about Pavard, potentially leaving as well. But I've been on the bus now for like an hour and a half since I saw the news initially. And my thoughts have changed a lot. At the beginning, I was like, oh, I want it, but how? Then I was like, oh, I want it, and I think I know how. And now my thought is I don't want it. And I don't want Matthijs de Ligt for one reason, and I just showed you the reason why. His name. I will call him Matthijs de Ligt every single time.
There is no way.
Is the reason I don't want it.
No way.
I was wondering, like, what's the point here? Well, why doesn't he want Matthijs de Ligt?
Yeah. I was so excited about him. A valid point. I thought, okay, it won't work because we're playing 3 at the back and he's not that good. I thought you're giving us some tactical insight, and he's saying it's because of his name, bro. I can't.
Do you know how difficult it was to write his name first on Twitter and then on YouTube as well, writing the title? I had to check on Twitter like 6 times just to make sure that I got the name right. That's the reason I don't want him. That's the only reason I don't want him. So that's my hot take of the day.
I was thinking finance.
Personally,
man, I thought it was because of Nianzou, but
no. Nianzou, diamonds will shine. Diamonds will shine.
I honestly think we could sell him. Like, I see the possibility.
Don't put that out there.
Yeah. You think
I mean, technically, so one player that could be sold now, I think it's Sabitzer. I don't know why, but I feel like there's less and less room for him in the squad, and he takes up quite a bit of the wage bill, so he might get axed. Him or Nianzou, but I'd prefer Sabitzer to get sold.
And there's so much to discuss about, right? Whether Lewandowski or Gnabry gets sold. How your opinion on selling Pavard? Is it like, I don't know where to start. Just like this transfer alone brings up so many topics.
So we could start at the person that I know least about. This what's his name? Mathys Tel. I have no idea who that is. I think you guys know.
Your mic is like fucked up, bro. It's like
it's a little stuttering.
Yeah.
You sound like a transformer.
Yeah.
Basically.
Sorry about that.
But I mean, we'll start with, we could do that. The one that I think most of us know the absolute least about, and that is Mathys Tel. As we so eloquently put, we watched a 2-minute video, 2-minute Twitter compilation.
I have to admit, I didn't even watch it fully because I thought it was bullshit rumors.
I watched the first 5 seconds and I was like, okay, what am I watching? and I think we're all experts in him. So, how high is the ceiling? Where do we think he'll go? Would he be a good fit at Bayern? Apparently, the rumored fee is like 7 million euros plus bonuses or something. I think I read.
Yeah.
So, what's everyone's thought on that transfer? If you have any thought on that transfer,
I do have thoughts. But Daniel, if you want, you can go ahead.
Okay, yeah. For me, my ceiling, I would put, like, realistically, I would say probably Coman level. But I don't know anything about him. I'm just going based off of, like, Browser's mindset is. So I'm going based off that. My heart says Ballon d'Or winner, but that's not going to happen.
Okay.
I think for the fee, like, it can't go wrong because he's so young. If it does go wrong, you can sell him for the same amount or probably more. Or if he does hit his potential, you hit a bargain. So I don't think there's like anything to lose with it. So we'll just see how it goes with him.
Fair enough.
No clue who he is. Yeah, you're not the only one. Actually, so my thoughts and I guess his ceiling. Honestly, on this transfer, I fully trust the board, our scouting, and especially Butzer. I think he's like, if he goes in for a talent and he's like, he really wants a talent, I think he's like, his ceiling must be very high. I think he has the next Davis or Musiala. And I think their ceiling is like really, really high. You know, I don't think it's like the next Mbappe because I don't think will be one in the next few years. But what I will say is, if he gets signed for the first team with 17, he must be good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you must be really good to be signed for the first team. And to be signed for the first team means you will play a role, because otherwise, why would you like sign him now? You know what I mean? Like, just let him experience more of the French league and then sign him. But if you want him now, he must add some value to the squad, which means he must be good. Like, not gonna lie, Nagelsmann and Brazzo probably think he would be a real good replacement for anyone, or maybe just like an addition. I don't know.
Well, I'll say this before I let Towsif speak if he wants to on this transfer. I don't think Nagelsmann is involved in this one at all. If I'm being honest, I think he's got no clue who he is as well, like most of us. Now, the way I see it is, I agree with what you said about if he's part, if we're trying to sign him for the first team, then he must be good. He must be thought of that he can make it, so on and so forth. While I do agree with that, we have signed a lot of young players recently that have not gone on to make it. I mean, Arp is a perfect example. We thought he'd be able to play as like a substitute role. That didn't work out. We were in for Callum Hudson-Odoi for 50 years, it feels like.
Yeah.
And now we somehow just moved on from him as well, which I do find very interesting. I mean, he did extend his contract, but I do find that very interesting that we dropped our interest completely off of Callum Hudson-Odoi, considering how much we were in for him. In terms of Mathys Tel, or however you say his name, let me just double check. It is Mathys Tel. I have honestly no idea. I didn't even know him, if I'm being completely honest, and that's shocking considering that I've watched French football probably more than the Bundesliga last season, specifically for talents, and the fact that I don't know him. Either he's really under the radar or I just completely missed him. So that's both very interesting. But yeah, Towsif, do you have anything in regards to this transfer that you'd like to say? If you have anything.
Paris.
First of all, can you guys hear me? Is my mic all right?
It's not that great. It's still stuttering.
We can hear you. That's not the problem. It's just a little stuttering.
Yeah.
So if you speak, we can definitely still hear you. So it's not tragic.
Okay, so one thing that I didn't know is that he signed for the first team, which is very surprising because I thought he was going to be like a Thiago Dantas signing, for the amateurs, and he maybe or may not work his way up into the first team. So I'm even more intrigued now that I know that he's been signed for the first team. But yeah, that's all I know. These are all my thoughts. He's a complete blank slate of paper to me. So yeah, we're just gonna have to research a bit more, watch a few more compilations.
Absolutely. Two things that I'll say. Maybe it will help. I don't know. But maybe leaving and then coming back might help the microphone situation. I know that's one thing that can sometimes help in that regard. But I think, which is the topic that we could probably go through the quickest next. I think Konrad Laimer to Bayern, just because we've either talked about him so much already, or people don't have too many thoughts about it. Konrad Laimer to Bayern, what is everyone's thoughts on regards to that one? I mean, just to go back to this one, just let me quickly answer this one. I would rather someone older in attack, especially Lewandowski is gone next summer. Well, this summer or next summer. While I very much agree with that, and by all accounts, Mathys Tel is not someone that is thought of to be the Lewandowski replacement. He's supposed to be an addition to the team, but not the out and out Lewandowski replacement based on all the reports. So, yeah. If you're worried about that he's going to be the Lewandowski replacement, that is not the case according to reports.
How would you actually feel if Brazzo came out, or not Brazzo came out, but the reports were we see him in the next Mbappe, right? And he's designed to be our Lewandowski replacement. Would you be like, is this club serious, or would you actually trust the club being okay? If they think so, this better be true. You know what I mean? I always ask myself, are these transfers made to secure the player and not really like having him as an option in the team, but just to secure if he actually exceeds and be like a good player, we already have him in our squad, or is it like he's really that good, and we see him as the next big thing. He will be to be fair, to become a French national team player is already an achievement nowadays. If you look at their squad there, it's crazy.
Well, I'll start. If the club came out and said, you know what, this player that we're buying that none of you have ever heard of, we believe in him, we trust him to be the Lewandowski replacement, to be our main striker, then so be it. I trust him 100%, and I would have absolutely no. I mean, obviously, once they said that, I would go everywhere to scout the internet. I'd go back, watch all the games that he's had in youth teams, so on and so forth, just to get my own opinion on that as well. But I trust the club enough to do it, because I'd like an option like that. I'd like the club to be not reckless, but daring to make that sort of statement. That's what I would love to see, and I'd 100% back it. Let me just add Hokage Poya to the stream. Hello, Hokage. I don't know whether you prefer Poya or Hokage, but welcome to the stream. You kind of missed a little bit of the start already, where we talked about Mathys Tel. I don't know whether you have any thoughts on the Mathys Tel, 17-year-old kid, I believe, on that signing. If you do, first of all, introduce yourself. If you want to plug yourself as well, you can go ahead and do so. And what are your thoughts on that Mathys Tel signing?
Yeah, what's up, guys? Hokage or it doesn't really matter. But I don't know. I've never heard of a Mathys Tel until this morning. So I mean, I don't really have any thoughts. Apparently, there's a lot of clubs high on him. So yeah, and usually our club I usually trust like the signings we make, even if I haven't heard of them. But yeah, I mean, I don't really have any thoughts. I think he's a forward, right? Is he a striker or just like a
left wing / striker?
Yeah, he's like a hybrid.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard much about him, but I'm interested to see. He's a young guy, so obviously this isn't like a signing that he would come and be like competing for starting spots. But if they think he would be a guy for the future, then why not? Because it seems like there's a lot of other top teams looking at him too. So that's a good sign, at least. Okay,
fair enough. Let me just answer one question that was posed in chat very, very quickly. It's this one. How do I join? If you want to join, just message me on Twitter so I can send you the invite link if that's what you're interested in. So if you want to join, just DM me on Twitter and I'll send you the invite link. Now we'll talk about. I do want to say Damien Van Halderen. We'll do talk about this in a little bit. Who do we think could replace Lewandowski? Obviously, I've got a list, but I don't think I'll ever get to those videos, honestly. I really don't. So I might talk a few names now. Would I take a gamble with Dybala, for example? And then obviously the later comment here from Impact Rush is, would Inacio be plan B? We'll talk about Lewandowski leaving and replacements a bit later. I do want to stick to the recent transfer rumors, so not so much Lewandowski leaving, but more so the other transfers. So I do want to say Pavard being sold. I think that, honestly, to me, that is probably the second or maybe third biggest news. It was the biggest shock that I saw today, that Pavard is to be sold, potentially. What's everyone's thoughts on this one? Let's start with Towers, just to check that your microphone is working now.
All right, so let's start all over. I hope my microphone is slightly better now. Yeah. With Pavard, I'm one of the few people, at least that's what it feels like, right, who actually likes Pavard. I think he's been solid. People always expected world-class stuff from him, but he's been decent. He's been solid, right? So in that respect, I think it's a shame that he's going, because I think he did provide something to the team. But I've read somewhere on Twitter, I think De Augustus mentioned it. If you want to make a decision on Pavard, do it now, because he's got only 2 years left on his contract. Yep. If you want to cash in on him, do it now. And if you then want to replace him with De Ligt, who I think is even younger than Pavard,
Yep.
better, and sure he'll demand more wages, but I mean Pavard also earns I think 7 million or something, or is earning 7 million, so it wouldn't be such a bad trade. Like people are contemplating a swap deal with extra cash, obviously because Pavard is not does not have the same value as De Ligt.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's gonna be a shame because we won't have anybody to blame on, because I feel like Pavard has been like the scapegoat for Bayern Munich fans a lot of the time, and now that he's gone, we'll have to look for a new one, perhaps Nianzou, who knows.
Of course.
But yeah, mixed feelings on him leaving. But I think it would be for the best, like in the best interest of everyone, if he does leave in return of De Ligt.
Okay, fair enough. Who wants to go next? I'm just gonna leave it open, so if people want to just go next, they can go next. We're not too many people, so let's have it an open discussion, I guess.
I'd say I am so wait, is because I just woke up and I'm reading all this news now. It's like confirmed Pavard is leaving, or it's a possibility?
It's a possibility.
Okay.
So
Okay,
he's not against it, and the club is not against selling him.
Yeah.
Okay. Because this is not a transfer. I don't like that Pavard would leave, because I think in Pavard, we have a guy. Yeah, sure. Maybe if we keep him and he extends his contract, I don't think we have a guy who will be asking to be getting insane wages. I think Pavard, in my opinion, I mean, when Bayern fans usually talk about our most consistent defenders, they say Lucas Hernandez. But, last season, Pavard was at times better than Lucas, in my opinion. And I think if we're really going to play three in the back, now I have no idea what formation Nagelsmann is going to prioritize next season. I don't know, because he was always switching between 3 and 4. But if we go 3 in the back, Pavard is a very, very, very strong right-sided center back in a back 3. He has a bunch of experience with us. He's a World Cup winner and a Champions League winner, and I think letting him go, and I feel like he's a guy who genuinely loves the club. He genuinely loves the club, and I think he genuinely likes being there. And he plays this. I don't know. I don't get like Sula vibes from him, where he feels disrespect. He's happy with his position in the club. And I don't know. And also, I'm just really high on Pavard because I think, I don't know. I don't know if it's too. Now, I would want De Ligt to come in, but I don't know if it's too smart to give Pavard away for De Ligt, because say what you want about De Ligt. De Ligt is mistake prone. But that comes with every young center back, right? Like, you can't really name me another young center back that never makes mistakes. But I don't know about Pavard leaving. Like, I think we would regret that. I think in Pavard also we have a really good backup right back if we ever need it. But yeah, I'm not too high on Pavard leaving the club.
Okay,
You
fair
made
enough.
you made some really good points. Actually, you made it. I wanted to stay now after your points, actually. But but to be fair though, I agree. Especially in the 3 at the back system, he was one of our best players. I also don't know what formation Nagelsmann wants to play. I have no idea. If he wants to play like 3 at the back and we want to go with Lucas, De Ligt, and Upamecano, guess it's still a good lineup. Like, I don't have a problem with that. Pavard is, as you said, I think he loves the club. I don't think there's I never had really doubts. But I don't think we should be using him in a swap deal. I think we should be selling him to Chelsea. I think they're desperately looking for a new centre back, especially one who's really good at the 3 at the back system. I think we could get some good money from Chelsea and use it for De Ligt, right? If we use him in a swap deal, I don't know whether we need to undervalue him, and we need to spend money on De Ligt regardless. You know what I mean? I think we could get more money from Chelsea than Juventus. Just my opinion. if we have to sell Pavard. But wait, Hokage, who would you sell if we had to sell one center back then? I guess you want to sell Lucas?
I mean, to make because say if De Ligt comes, I think we have 5 center backs, right? We have Lucas, Pavard, Upamecano, De Ligt, and then we have Nianzou.
Yeah.
I just think now I really like Nianzou, but I just think
Oh
no,
no!
I wouldn't want Nianzou
Another
to be
one.
sold because I actually think Nianzou is like a really good player. The potential's there. But I think a loan option for him would be the best because I don't think if we bring in De Ligt, even if we get rid of Pavard, I don't think Nianzou will be given much of a look in.
No, I think it's wasted. Yeah.
But I definitely don't want Nianzou to be sold. So I think like, why not loan Nianzou out? You know what I mean? Because there's a player there, but you see that he just needs more experience, and he's still 19, right? Like 19. He's very young, so I think like a loaning out Nianzou will bring in De Ligt and then see what happens in the next year. But I don't know. I prefer not to sell anybody we have because we already got rid of Sule to our rivals in Dortmund. So yeah.
Just take my heart, rip it, and tear it apart. Nianzou needs to stay. That's the first thing. First thing I'm gonna say. All right, most important thing.
Nah,
but also. In terms of Pavard, I actually very much agree with this comment here. Let me find it. Yeah, about this one. Pavard being, I wouldn't say shocking, but it was definitely on the weaker side of the team in the first half. And second half, he was definitely our best defender, I would say. I think he'd compete for our best player in the second half, honestly, just because he was consistent, whereas 90% of the team wasn't.
No.
Now, personally, my thoughts on Pavard are very, very simple. I like him a lot. And I like him a lot for 2 reasons. One, we don't have that many players that will just take responsibility. What I mean by that is, okay, it's, the 80th minute, 85th minute, 89th minute, so on and so forth. Let me just take a shot. And Pavard, he's a defender, and he'll still take the shot. He's known for his volleys. I don't think there's a player in the world that is better in half volleys and volleys than him, if I'm being honest. But I just like him because 1, he's versatile, and 2, he's, I'd say, great at both positions. If not, he's not world class, but he's great at both. And I think having that versatility is much more important than being world class in both positions. So if we were to sell him, I think it's a big shame. But I also kind of understand if he wants to leave. So it's a bit of both. I wouldn't put any stones in his way personally. I think if he leaves, he's been a great servant of the club. And I think, I wish him all the best wherever he ends up, as long as it's a club where I can wish him all the best, aka not Sule. But that's just my thoughts on Pavard. Daniel, what are your thoughts on Pavard potentially leaving?
Yeah, so with Pavard, I'm always a big fan of him because he's always loved the club, like everyone said, and he's always putting a shift in. Even if he's been poor, like you said, he understands that he's been bad and he tries to lift himself up. And then the issue is though, I don't see him taking a backup role at right back because Mazraoui's definitely starting. He won't take a backup role there. It just doesn't make sense. And if we're doing 4 at the back, we keep taking these backup roles. I don't see it, even though I'm a big fan. And then I also think he's pretty good for the dressing room too, because it seems like he's pretty good with the French crowd and German crowd, especially with I remember with the Champions League final when he was in the stands, he was banging against the stadium, cheering for the teammates. I'm gonna miss him in the team if he does go. I don't think it'll be that big of a loss per se if we do 4 at the back because we have a lot of center backs, and I think Stanisic is good enough to be a backup right back. But I won't miss him if he goes because I do like what he brings to the team, on the pitch and off the pitch. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And I do want to say as well, I do think the rumors of Pavard leaving are not fueled, but they are aided by the fact that Stanisic, he's had a good summer. So with him having a good summer, I think most people remember the game against Mbappe, of course. But with him having, like, with him developing, he's not going to be world class. Let's face it, Stanisic is not going to be world class. But with him developing, I do think the club is now a lot more willing to let Pavard leave than, you know, if we didn't have a second right back. And a third right back, since we still have Sa. All right.
Oh yeah, that guy.
But I do think that with Stanisic playing the way he does currently, the club is a lot more willing to let Pavard leave, which is interesting.
But do you think the club will even? I don't know. I just remember this season. It was like November, October. Stanisic was like getting some games, and then he was just completely outcasted the second half of the season, not given. So, like, does the club really put that much stock into Stanisic? I don't know.
Well, the thing with Stanisic was that he was injured.
Yeah.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought. Okay, I didn't know he was injured. What the heck? Huh.
No, he was injured for like 3 months or so.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wait, if we go for a 3 at the back, right? Do we even have enough central backs if we also sell Pavard? Like, what happens if like Lucas gets injured? Who would play now then? Nianzou? How would that work? If we play 3 at the back and Lucas gets injured, then we only have Nianzou on the bench. Who will play? And then, I don't know, a red card for Upamecano, who will then go into central back position? I have no idea.
Richards.
You think Richard will stay then? Oh, and Stanisic could play central back as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Or De Ligt, De Ligt had some injury issues at Juventus too, if I'm not wrong. So
Not really though, because like he's only had like one major injury there, and it's a shoulder injury, and it was like 90 days. The rest have been like 2 or 3 days, and there weren't
Fair
that many.
enough.
Yeah.
I do want to say one thing quickly while we continue, just because I've seen this and a different comment before about Sesko, and then there was another comment about Ronaldo. We'll talk about Ronaldo / Lewandowski later. So those are things on the plan for today. So I'm not ignoring those comments. We're just going to talk about those later on during this discussion, but not yet. We're just focusing on the defense for now, and then slowly we'll move up to the midfield, and then slowly we'll move up to the attack. But I do find it interesting. Let's talk about a little bit more about Matthijs de Ligt then, because I do want to wait a little bit with this one, just because it is the big news that came out. It's the reason this discussion is happening. Really, I saw it and I was like, okay, we need to talk. We need to actually deep dive into this. But my question is, and it's not a question because, as I said, I thought about it, but I'll raise it as a question to all of you. Where is the money coming from? He's going to cost. I mean, the reports were that Juventus rejected 75 million from Chelsea like last week. So where's the money coming from?
Don't forget, Batso is an ex-Juventus player, bro. He might just have connections. No, I'm joking. You're right.
They found oil in the Allianz Arena.
Well, I think that's the point of putting Pavard in the swap deal, right? Is to take down the amount of funds we actually have to give them. I don't know. But I don't know how we would pay 80 million right now without a player involved to bring the price down. You know what I mean? So that's why I think Pavard is being thought of.
Even Pavard's not like a major sale. Like, you know what I mean? We must be getting even more money than just by selling Pavard. And I think that's what Prince is like trying to lead us to. Is we either need to sell Lewandowski or Gnabry. One of them have to go. Otherwise, we don't have the money probably. And I think the board already knows who they will sell, right? I think it will be Lewandowski, maybe. Because Gnabry still has the contract offer on the table, and I think he will agree. Just my feeling. And Lewandowski, they might be getting 50 million for him. I don't know. Just my take on that.
Tausif, what are your thoughts? How can Bayern possibly make these transfers happen? De Ligt, Mathys Tel, Konrad, Laimer, all three of them. How on earth are we going to do it?
I also think selling Gnabry and Lewandowski might be the solution, because otherwise we would be running the risk of spending far too much money. I mean, Matthijs de Ligt won't come cheaper than 60 million euros, and we also have. Don't forget, we still need some other players as well, like Laimer, Tel. Those won't be cheap either, and we know we've been raising the price for Lewandowski for a reason. But I have the feeling that the board itself doesn't want. I mean, the offer still stands for Gnabry, but they might know, or they might have the feeling like he won't extend. So that's, I think, where the money's gonna come from. The question now then is, we then need more players in the attack, obviously. I mean, we've got Mathys Tel, but he's 17. He's not gonna replace anyone as of yet. Some more things need to happen still. So yeah, I don't know really actually. So I just have a feeling that Gnabry and Lewandowski will not be playing for Bayern Munich next season.
Interesting. Let me talk a little bit. I'm sorry. I'm going to take the mic. I wanted all of you to talk so I could take the mic here right at the end. And I'm going to say something that I think many people will massively disagree with, or it doesn't make sense to them.
That's a new thing.
I don't think we're going to sell Lewandowski. I don't think we're going to sell Gnabry. And I don't think we're going to sell Pavard. I don't think we're going to really sell anyone.
Festgeldkonto.
Well, that, yes. But the thing is, before the pandemic, the journalists always used to say that we had roughly, it's always roughly, of course, it depends on each season, but that we always had roughly 200 million for transfers each season. Now, that was pre-pandemic, of course. Now, I don't know how the club sees it, but I would surely believe that we're now pretty much past the pandemic in terms of the financial aspects of everything. So let's just say we're at 180. We're not quite at the 200 mark yet, but we're at roughly 180 per season. 180 million. How much have we spent so far? Realistically speaking, how much have we spent so far?
60, I think.
Yeah,
41
give or take.
Mane,
Give or
and
take
20
60.
for
Gravenberg and then Nazrai came for free. So let's say 60. Let's round it up. I'll even be generous. Let's say 65. All right? That leaves us with about 100 left. Now, we've already had sales. Rocker. Who am I missing? Rocker. Let's see. Who have we sold?
We've not sold many more. We've just let people go. We've let Zule go. We've let Tolisso go on a free. But you can also say in economy, like in business, there's a thing called opportunity cost, meaning the loss of the revenue that you could have made had you decided otherwise, for in any given situation.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do the reverse, in which you say what's the opportunity profit, right? So we might not have profited off the sales of Zule and Rocca and Tolisso, but we've gotten rid of their wages. And we've especially gotten rid of the extensions, especially for Zule, because Zule would have gotten maybe not twice, but a significant pay raise, which he didn't get now. And we've gotten his, I think, 8 to 9 million completely off the wage bill. So that frees up more funds.
Yeah, that's true. In addition, you've got the likes of App that we've gotten rid of. You know, the rumors are we're losing. I mean, let me just double check, because I saw something else earlier today. Remy Vita is leaving Bayern as well. I think there are some youth players that are leaving as well. Let me just double check with you.
Didn't Lucas Mai leave?
He did, yes, he did leave as well. Sorry?
Armin Sieb left too.
Another person that left. And I know these are like, relatively inexpensive or free players that are leaving. But one, it takes a lot of budget of our wage list. Two, even if we sold him for a relatively cheap fee, that's still a fee. And just take the Rocker example. That not quite in its entirety, but that already pays for 2/3 of the Gravenberg deal. So how much have we really spent this summer? Roughly, I'd say probably like 45 million. So if we have, let's say, 180 to spend, we still have about 140 to invest. And that's why I think we're able to, go for Laimer, while we're able to go for Matthijs de Ligt, and also while we're able to go for Mathys Tel. That's why I don't think sales are necessary, but of course we are expecting some sales to happen. Whether that's ZXC for 10 million, I hope not, but I do see the news, and quite frankly, I don't think. I don't know whether he's going to stay. There are reports of obviously Omar Richards leaving as well as Chris Richards leaving. So there are reports about a lot of our players leaving, and I do get that. But I do think that, how do I phrase this? We're not necessarily dependent on players leaving. It goes back to one of the interviews that Uli Hoeneß had, I want to say 2 weeks ago. I don't know whether people know which interview I'm talking about, but he basically said, and I've got it here in German, so I'll say it in German and translate it. But he basically said, wenn das alles kommt, was mir diese Woche vorgestellt wurde, dann sehe ich eine gute Chance, dass wir nächstes Jahr eine attraktive Mannschaft haben mit Robert Lewandowski. Basically saying that if everything happens what was presented to me, then I think we've got a very good chance to have a very attractive team next season with Lewandowski.
Ooh.
So that's the key part here, with Lewandowski. And if all the rumors are true about Gnabry, then he hasn't made his decision yet. So we presented him an offer, and Lewandowski is staying. So who else is leaving then, realistically, besides maybe Pavard? But even that is like 50-50.
Maybe Sabitzer, maybe.
Here's the thing about Hoeneß statements, though. I distinctly remember him talking in an interview 2 years ago.
Look,
saying,
man.
I just want to quote him, right? Wenn Sie wüssten, wenn wir schon alles in der Tasche haben, and then nobody came. So ever since then, I've been very skeptical about him, about his statement.
No, I trust him, bro. He's right. Levy will stay, actually.
This is an interesting part. 180, I would say 120 max. The point is, it's in the 100 million range, and we've spent, a third, maybe a fourth. That's the point I'm trying to get across. We haven't, we've still got a significant amount of money left to spend. And one, Salihamidzic knows that he is under pressure. And two, the club itself is under pressure. We've seen the amount of, interviews that have happened over the last couple of weeks in regards to, we're trying to build a team that can compete for the Champions League, so on and so forth, which I find very, very interesting. The club has changed its focus from, Uli Hoeneß, Karl-Heinz Rummenigge, especially Karl-Heinz Rummenigge. Uli Hoeneß, he would have said, okay, we'll go for the Champions League. But Karl-Heinz Rummenigge, he'll never say we'll go for the Champions League. He'll always, his typical statement, the Bundesliga is the most honest title.
Yeah.
That's literally all he says every single year when he's asked about trophies.
That's actually true.
He's wrong technically, but...
Nah, but that's not our ambition, bro.
Yeah, that's true. I completely agree with you. Champions League has to be the focus.
DFB Pokal always has to be we must win the DFB Pokal 9 out of 10 times, in my opinion. We are so much better than every other German team. There's no way we will go out to Gladbach or Kiel.
And yet we rarely win it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I wanted to say about the funds and where the funds could possibly come from and why I don't think we necessarily need to sell. I do think we are going to sell, but I don't think that's a definitive. And just to add to that, sorry, I keep adding to it because, so much reports and rumors are coming up as we speak. Falk, who I know before anyone says it's Falk, but Falk has sources within the club.
Yeah, so, he does. 100%
so
he does.
Whether you like him or not, he does have sources. And he says, true, FC Bayern know that Chelsea FC is also interested in Matthijs de Ligt, and Chelsea can offer a higher transfer fee, but Bayern know that the player would prefer to move to Munich if the club can agree on a deal. That's very important. Now, I'm going to stop speaking because I've spoken enough, but there's another news report coming out. As I said, they're just coming out as we speak. This one is about from Sky Sports News in regards to Dynamo Kiev's Samba Diallo, who we've been linked with for I want to say 2-3 weeks now, give or take. Really since Mane signed, we've been linked with him stronger. Senegalese is not seen as immediate reinforcements for the first team like Mathys Tel, but the club is in for him. Bayern want to secure as many promising talents as possible. Interesting, isn't it? I know most people probably have no idea about him, and probably have never seen him play until they see a Twitter compilation. But I guess I'll ask it anyway, just very quickly. What's everyone's thoughts on Bayern potentially signing Dynamo Kiev's Samba Diallo? If you have any thoughts.
I have no thoughts, honestly.
Yeah.
I trust the board being I trust him being the next Sadio Mane. That's it.
And that's without a Twitter compilation. My goodness.
I don't know. He's sending. Yeah, why not?
Hey, I mean, there are two Senegalese at Bayern Munich. One's Zah, a pretty decent player. One's the other world-class player, which is Mane is the good player. Zah is the world-class player. So he'll have good role models there. So
Yeah.
I just say that.
One main reason why he would want to join, right? I don't think that's it's a dream for every Senegalese.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
This guy's right in the comments.
He is.
Top comment.
He is. But let's talk about Cristiano. Ronaldo.
Suey.
What is everyone's thoughts on this one? I'm keeping it open round. Talk if you want. Speak now about Cristiano Ronaldo to Bayern before I give my rant. My speech. My talk. Go for it.
I have one sentence. Just one sentence. If we agree on Levy's wages, we should be buying him. Otherwise, not. That's just my take.
I called it. I said we're gonna get him. And I think he'd be the best signing of striker. Get him for 2 years. He'll score every goal we need in the important competitions, Champions League, all this stuff. It'd be the best signing for marketing too. I called it. It's gonna happen.
A week ago, I would have said, no way, right? No way should you play. It was always interesting, right? A thought experiment. But as an actual realistic target, no. But today, the news came out that he's willing to take a massive wage cut. And now things get interesting because this news came out today, and yesterday, Brazzo was asked on the street, is Ronaldo coming? He said no. But I think, the Bayern board will always say, oh, there's no numerous reasons, his age, blah, 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 blah. But realistically, it's just his wage. Because his wage is astronomically, and I don't even think, I think he'd go for even lower than Lewandowski's because at Manchester United, he's earning less than for Juventus back in the day. And he just wants to get out of there. And realistically, he knows there are only a few alternatives for him. He won't go to Italy. He's not going to go to Spain. PSG is also a bit unrealistic. Then you've you've exhausted your opportunities, right? Your possibilities. The only two clubs are left are Chelsea and Bayern Munich, or some MLS team. And I think he still wants to win the European silverware. So Chelsea or Bayern Munich, and I think he might even take less than 20 million a year, honestly, for a chance to win the Champions League and the Ballon d'Or again. He will do it.
United might not even sell to Chelsea, just wouldn't.
And
Exactly.
Would he even go to a Premier League? Right? I don't know. Out of respect for Man U, would he even? I don't know.
I doubt that. I highly doubt that.
I doubt it. Also,
so then Bayern is we're the only location for this guy.
I think he wants to join. I'm sure he wants, but it's whether we want him or not.
I think he would join, but as Prince just said, about what Uli Hoeneß said, that Lewandowski, we'll have Lewandowski next season. But I think if we still have Lewandowski and he doesn't leave, then I think it's impossible for Ronaldo
Yeah,
because the
Yeah.
wage.
that's
I mean,
obvious.
there's no. I mean, it would. As if Ronaldo wants to come and take a Sule wage of 8 million, okay, then it's possible. But there's like you can't cut his wage down that much. You still got to respect the man and give him the money that he's worth. So I think if Lewandowski leaves, I think this becomes almost like not certain, but I would put it at like 70% chances of it happening, and it would be crazy. And if Ronaldo comes, our club gets much richer. We get the Ronaldo army of 400 million Instagram followers. We get the social media juice. We get a guy who scores important goals and doesn't ghost in big games. So this would be amazing for Bayern, in my opinion.
Just think about it. We get the second best player probably to ever play the game at Bayern Munich. That's insane, if you ask me. Like crazy.
It is insane, PR. I'm not gonna lie about that. And the Ronaldo army would be crazy. You know how we were last week? We were talking about the social media numbers and how Bayern can't get like any social media numbers at all.
Yeah,
You would boost it all.
Literally just one tweet of just like Ronaldo to Bayern. That's all you have to do. Just Ronaldo to
Can
Bayern.
Can you imagine the tweet with the Allianz Arena where it said Mane but with the CR7? That would blow away the internet.
I saw this thing on Twitter. You know what's the name of the song we play when we score a goal at home and it goes like
yeah.
da 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 da, da.
Yeah.
Imagine that, and then the whole crowd goes "Sir." That'd be hilarious.
But realistically, I don't want him at Bayern.
Yeah,
Sorry to bring the
I
mood down.
can see why.
sorry to bring the mood down like that.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
a
also
valid take.
lukewarm on it.
It's a valid take, actually. He's 37, earns like crazy. It doesn't fit our system. I don't know.
I don't
I mean, he got 18 goals though as a 37-year-old. So
For
he's
Manchester United, we're like shitters. They were like
Yeah.
shittiest team in the league.
But I don't mind him as a player. I don't think he's too bad as a player. My issue is with him moving to, if he were to move to Bayern, one, we wouldn't be able to have any more, training sessions / friendly games, so on and so forth in America, which I think, which I think, we
honestly good take, yeah.
We've tried so much to grow our exposure in America. People say, who cares about that? It's very important to the club because, as we've seen with Davis, and some, and the talents that are emerging from America, they are coming out with new talents every single season. I mean, I started watching the MLS starting last year, and there are so many good young players from the MLS that if they keep developing at the current rate that they are, they could be an interest for us. They could be players that could do well for us, and I think us having our sessions in America every summer, so on and so forth, is good for the club. It builds relationships, but it also really helps just the club get on friendly terms with these American clubs.
Wait, why would Ronaldo affect that?
Because he has some legal trouble. Let's just call it.
Yeah, no, but he beat the case. Like, he's allowed back.
No, he didn't. He wasn't like an NDA agreement that he signed.
I thought he
That
beat the
she signed. Sorry.
Yeah, it was like from what I remember reading, it was basically the case is suspended until he enters the US.
Okay.
So that's why he, for example, can't go to America, because that's when the case would resume. That's why United, for example, they couldn't have a training session in America with him with him playing as well. Now you could make the argument, well, just leave him, just give him a longer break or whatnot. It's a tricky situation. But basically, that's all it is. It's a tricky situation. In terms of would he fit in at Bayern? I don't know. Actually, I think the easy answer would be to say no, but I don't know. I actually don't know whether he would fit in at Bayern. Because I don't think our play style is necessarily an antithesis to how he plays. I don't think it's diametrically opposed to it. I just think I think he would work in it because we have so much possession. So like he'd get a lot of chances, and if he scores, then you can always say, well, he fits our style because he scores goals nonstop. And of course, he's known to be a big game player, so that's a very nice thing as well. I don't know. In terms of player, I'll be honest, I have no idea whether I'd actually want him in terms of as a player. I'm like 50-50 on him, because while I do like the Ronaldo army joining Bayern, I also think it would be so extremely cringe if the Ronaldo army were to join Bayern. Because if that happens, every single post, it could be about anything. Like Gravenberg could score, the greatest goal of all time, but because Ronaldo, gave him the assist by literally just passing the ball in midfield to him, all the comments would be about the assist and not about the goal.
Yeah. I've seen a Twitter poll about who's the tallest player, and Ronaldo fans were voting for Ronaldo, even though Ibrahimovic wasn't the voting. That just says everything.
But I think let's be honest, right? For the Bundesliga, if we were to sign Ronaldo, that would be the biggest signing we've ever done. I would say before that, Pep Guardiola, in terms of like eyes on Bayern, at least in my lifetime, he was the biggest, the most eyes that were on Bayern. Yeah. I mean, I think it was Deutsche Welle that recently put like a Twitter post saying, is Mane the best transfer to the Bundesliga ever? And I said no, because Lothar Matthäus exists. But Ronaldo would definitely be the biggest transfer and probably the best transfer. Maybe not best, but in terms of the overall package, aka age, and so on and so forth. But the best in just this is a sign for the Bundesliga that we are. I guess the argument is always that Bayern is internationally competitive, the rest of the league isn't. Now imagine if Dortmund signed Cristiano Ronaldo. I think that would be a statement. But yeah,
it's weird because Ronaldo did score 18 goals in the league in the Prem, and a lot of times he was just pulling goals out of his ass, to be honest. Like, he was getting no help from from his teammates around him. So it's weird because if he comes to Bayern, like most games, like 99% of games, we'll be dominating, we'll have possession, and we'll float in crosses for him and give him chances. So part of me is like, well, then why would it not work? You know what I mean? But then there's the other aspect of it is when I watch Ronaldo at Man U this past season, even taking into account how bad just Manchester United as a whole was, his general play was not impressive.
Yeah, his goals deteriorated a lot.
Yeah, it has deteriorated massively. Like, he can't move like he used to. So it really depends on what the club is bringing him in to do. If they're bringing him in to be like this fantastic link-up player with Muller, Sané, Coman, and all these guys, then I don't think you're going to get that. But if he's coming to be like our goal scorer, our out-and-out goal scorer, then it's hard to see why it wouldn't work. But
yeah. I very much agree. And it's also funny because I think it was Thomas Muller during like 2016 or so when he was like asked who he would like to play with between Messi and Ronaldo. He said like when he was younger and he was much more of a striker, he would have loved to play with Messi. But now that he's more of a creator, he'd love to play with Ronaldo. Well, there's a problem solved.
Yeah.
But
wait, did he say that?
He did, yeah.
Okay.
I can't remember where he said it, but he said that I was watching the interview. He did like an interview somewhere. Maybe it was like a Q&A on his on his YouTube channel or something where he said that, but I don't remember where it was. But yeah, I do find it funny though, because the argument, of course, is, well, if you're getting Ronaldo, why not just stick with Lewandowski? And I think, okay, I'll say this: Ronaldo obviously will go down as like one of the greatest players of all time. You said earlier, top 2 of all time, Nagels. I know there are plenty of people that think he is the greatest of all time, and plenty of people that think he's not top 5 of all time. I think everyone has their own definition of what makes it the best player of all time. I think we could all agree with that. What I will say though is you're getting quality with him. You're getting big game moments with him. And you're getting PR. You're getting a lot with him. And I think I've said this before, but I'll say this again. With our creativity in attack, you could honestly get any attacker, any forward, any decent forward, and they would probably score 40 goals a season in all competitions. But then with the likes of Lewandowski or Ronaldo, you obviously get more. So I don't think we need a big name in attack. But if he's desperate to join us, if the fee is a lot cheaper, like if he drops his wage down to, let's say, 18 million a season, why not? I don't know.
Yeah.
The more I speak, like at first I was like completely against it, but now the more I speak on it, the more I talk about it, I'm just like, I don't know. Maybe it could work. Someone intervene, please, before I say I want him.
But also to reinforce that, is like, you also got to think like, Ronaldo, how much money really do you need, dude? Like, it's only a matter of time before Ronaldo's a billionaire at this point for all the businesses he's a part of. Like, do you really need as 37? Do you really need if 30 million a year, a 30 million a year contract? You know what I mean? So like, I don't know if he's seriously considering that big of a pay cut, but like at this point, Ronaldo, do you need 30 million a year, dude? Like, you're already gonna be a billionaire, and your generations upon generations are gonna be set. So like, yeah.
Yeah, I think because I remember during his prime, when he was earning 30 plus million at Real Madrid, he was pulling in total over 100 million per year in like sponsorship deals and other endorsements. And I mean, it's crazy. I've heard from work someone who's talked about how expensive the brand of CR7 is, and it's very expensive. It just tells you that he's gonna be fine with without the extra money. And personally, I think from like character-wise, I judge I deem him to be more focused on legacy, on trophies, than on money. I mean, obviously he also has money in mind, but give him the choice between earn 100 million per year at PSG and win and have to share the glory with Messi, Mbappe, and probably not even win it, the Champions League again, or 70 million in total with, or 60, 50 million with Bayern Munich, but then have a higher chance of winning the Champions League and another Ballon d'Or. I think he won't hesitate to pick Bayern.
Agree, but I think the chance of winning the Champions League and Ballon d'Or, I don't think there's like much difference between Bayern and PSG.
All right, so let's forget PSG. Let's say Chelsea. Chelsea's a better example.
Yeah.
Because I don't think PSG is. I think PSG is complete. Like, where's the spot for him? Like, I don't think Neymar will leave there. I think those three are like the guaranteed front three at PSG. So, and yeah, so I don't think even PSG is a viable option because I don't know.
Yeah.
They aren't even linked him at all. They don't even want him.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Yeah. So let's just the same argument, but with Chelsea instead of PSG. Because Chelsea are, as we discussed earlier, the only other team that you could somehow see him go to. Yeah. So if I were him, and if I judge his character correctly, I think he would prefer Bayern.
You know what the crazy thing is? When this rumor originally started, there were 3 clubs: Bayern, Chelsea, and Napoli. I don't know where Napoli in that trio came from. It makes no sense to me, which is why I think he'll end up at Napoli.
That would be so weird.
Can someone like explain one thing? Why is Lewandowski quiet? I mean, I know he's on vacation and stuff, but I have a feeling that Salihamidzic actually promised him something like, yeah, we will talk with Barcelona about your transfer. We might get it done. Or is he quiet because Salihamidzic just told him, well, you're not leaving. You can try whatever you want. You won't leave. And he's like, okay, I give up now. I guess I won't leave now. You know what I mean? Like, what is your take on why he's quiet and how this will actually, what will be the outcome?
I'll
I
give you
think-
my take. Actually, no. Go on, Towsif. Go on, Towsif.
Okay, thank you. I think it's he knows Bayern and Barcelona might be negotiating right now, and with him being vocal again, he's going to do two things. He's going to make it harder for both parties to negotiate, and should the negotiations not go through, he'd alienate more Bayern fans, and the new season is drawing closer. So I think he just realized maybe shutting up is not as bad of an idea now. That's why.
Okay.
Yeah.
I agree. Almost. Because I think the big thing is as well, is he's ruining his legacy. You know, when he did his podcast interview thing, and it was like a massive backlash, even Lewandowski fans, you know, which I am not. And so it was actually quite funny for me to see, like, Lewandowski fans were turning on him. They were completely against him after the interview, where he said, like, oh, something died in me, and, you know, I just can't play at Bayern anymore, so on and so forth. Even Lewandowski fans completely turned against him. And, like, the next day, right after the interview, the next day, he was like, he's trying to backtrack a little bit. So I think he didn't quite expect to see that reaction. And then what I found very, 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 very telling was Uli Hoeneß. Like the club, you know, the higher ups, Karl-Heinz Rummenigge, sorry, not Karl-Heinz Rummenigge, Oliver Kahn, Salihamidzic, Heiner, whatever they say, they always kept it very political. You know, they always
That's
kept
why
it
I love Uli. Yeah.
But Uli Hoeneß, when he was asked, you know, do you think he's hurt his Bayern legacy, and he's still in good graces with Bayern fans, and Uli Hoeneß basically said that there are some things that I can't talk about. Like, this is one of those things that I'm not gonna speak on. From that coming from Uli Hoeneß says more than a rant from him. That says a lot more. When Uli Hoeneß is quiet, you know you effed up, right? And that's basically what Lewandowski did. And I think he realized that himself, which is the reason why I think he's quiet. It's not so much that he wants to leave, and he thinks, you know, there are better chances that he gets to leave if he's quiet, or there are better chances if he gets to leave if he's loud. I don't think it's that. I think Lewandowski, as we kind of talked about with Ronaldo, they care about the legacy. And I think him having damaged his legacy with Bayern, with a lot of Bayern fans, I think he didn't expect that. And I think he's now not questioning his decision, but rather questioning why he did that. And that's why he's being quiet and just waiting and observing, if that makes sense. That's my thought on why we haven't heard anything from him.
I agree with that. I think he regrets doing it because of what you said. Because, like, the more he opens his mouth, the less likely he is to move. Because it's like, you're just going to anger the Bayern board, you're going to anger the fans, and then they're more likely to keep you out of resentment. Whereas if you just keep your mouth shut and just let Barca and Bayern do the work, they can figure it out on their own.
Yeah.
Good take.
Quickly, breaking news, both from Abdullah Yusuf in the comment section, but it's also on Twitter, of course. Apparently, Bayern signed Asiko Nikili, considered one of the biggest defensive midfield talents in Germany. Salzburg wanted him. This is obviously, thank you, Abdullah Yusuf, for posting this in the chat. I just saw it as well on Is and Me as well. This is according to Falk. 16-year-old.
I actually watched him. Like, not gonna. I watched one game of him. I think it was the Youth DFB Pokal. He was impressive. I'm gonna lie, he was really good.
Well, there we go. The day just keeps getting better. It's funny, isn't it? Like, this whole week, last week, right? I've been waiting. I was like, okay, if there's any sort of news, we might do another discussion. Nothing. This week, today, just news. It's like, what's going on? Is the club just asleep and then just wakes up and it's like, okay, let's do everything today. Just a little bit more updates that have come in the last, since we went live in regards to the Mathys Tel situation. So this is according to Pletty. Again, Pletty, probably the most credible source for Bayern right now. If you're not aware of like where journalists rank right now, Pletty would be at the very top. He would be tier 1/tier 0. He was the first one that called the Mane deal, and honestly, he's just been right all summer. So whenever he says something at the moment, you're treated as law, basically. So in regards to Mathys Tel's situation, he says agreement in principle with the player. Bayern made an offer of 7 million fixed plus add-ons that could take the fee up to 17 million. Tel asked Rennes for permission to leave. Rennes wants more money and is planned for the first team. Any thoughts in regards to all these points that Pletty just put out?
That's interesting because you guys said like left wing striker, right? For Mathys Tel.
Yep.
So where does that put? Where does because I know that in the youth teams they're also very high on Vidovic, right? So
yep, absolutely.
Does this put Vidovic in the back burners and not give him a chance with the first team this year? Because Vidovic, I think, is pretty impressive, and I've seen more of him. I've never seen Tel, so I don't know what's gonna happen to Vidovic now. Like another year at Bayern 2, playing in the third Bundesliga, I think we're in. The regional league. I don't know.
Yeah, we are.
I think they'll loan him, to be honest. I could see a loan for Vidovic.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I think Sane just hasn't performed, and I think the club is looking at that, and that's why I also think Vidovic will get loaned. Just so we'll give Sane this season again to prove himself, but I think the club is almost done with him. Honestly, I hate saying that, but I think the club is in the back of their minds are like, he's not performing the way we thought he would, and that's where they're getting a lot of the younger guys ready to replace him. That's just my thoughts on that, though.
How many years did Sane sign for? 4?
5-year contract.
4 or 5, yeah.
Yeah. So if he doesn't perform this season, I think we should cut our losses, and because I don't know how much longer I could wait on Sane to arrive. You know what I mean? He only arrived for 3 months the last season.
Where would we sell him though? I don't see anyone taking him for actually the money we want. We want at least, I guess, 40 million. Who would pay that? Maybe there's someone who would pay that, but I don't know. Some desperate Premier League club maybe.
His wages too, 20 mil a year or whatever, 18 mil. They'd have to cover that too.
Crazy. So let's just one quick question. What's your take on Lewandowski? Will you stay or leave? Just everyone, we could go through everyone's take on that. Just a quick yes or no, or what about you then? He'll stay? Okay. Yep. Daniel?
I think he'll stay, but I want him to go.
I want him to stay, even though I don't want him to play.
I think he might be staying, which sucks, but yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it changes almost every week. 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I would have said, okay, he's leaving. 2 weeks ago, I said, okay, no, he's staying. But the negotiations seem to have taken off last week with Barcelona while crying, still approaching the 50 million mark that Bayern have set. And I think as soon as they hit that 50 million mark with achievable, reasonable bonuses, then I think he's gonna go. But I'm pretty 50-50 on it. I want him to go, but ideally he'll stay. But he'll stay on the stand the entire season. But that's unrealistic. So I think I'm leaning towards he might stay.
What about you, Nagels?
Honestly, I also change my mind every second day. Today, I came up with the conclusion: if he goes, he gets exactly what he wants, and I don't want that. The way he talks about, I know he damaged his reputation, right? And everyone, including the team, don't like him anymore. But if he gets his wish fulfilled and gets sold to Barca, I can't. I don't want this. And I think we might be underrating the fact that he scores like 40 goals. Because I was watching today some of the Manchester United Twitter fan base, right? And they were talking about if Ronaldo goes, who will score the 18 goals? Like, you think Rashford or Martial will score these goals? No. That's what Ronaldo is for. And I think that kind of also applies to Bayern. If Lewandowski goes, who will score the 50 goals for us?
I could
Because-
name you 50 players that could score that amount of goals.
Okay,
100
you mean-
players.
if we're going to replace him, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The one thing you have to remember though is, I think, I don't know who it was earlier. I think it might have been Okage who said that earlier. Ronaldo created a lot of the chances for him by himself at United. So our situation and United situation are not the same. Like the amount of chances we create as a team, you could put, as I said earlier, you could put almost any like half decent striker up there and they would score, 30, 40 goals in all competition.
Like, just go look at Ronaldo's, like, Manchester United wouldn't have made the round of 16 at Champions League without Ronaldo's goals. And look at the goals he was scoring. Like, he was just pulling goals out of his ass from left, right, every corner of the field and carried them into the next stage of the Champions League. So that's why I think, like, the chances we make, like, why wouldn't it work? You know what I mean?
Guess you guys are right, yeah.
It goes back to, there's his highs and bars, what kind of players who don't want to play for us, even a legend like Lewandowski. I would have agreed with that if he didn't make these statements. And that's where, like, the second he made those statements, if we sell him now, we're going to be a clown. We're going to be the clown. No, not just the clown. We're going to be the circus. And that's why, as I said, if he didn't make those statements, I would have happily shipped him. I would have transported him myself. Like, I would have been his chauffeur. I would have drove him there myself, or got myself a pilot license to fly him there myself. I'd wish him goodbye, and I'd say, please never come back. I mean, please come back soon. But he made those statements, and now I want him to rot on the bench. And I know we don't have the money. I know we don't, especially if we're making these big signings. But I just wish we did. Just put him on the bench and just leave him there for a season. I know it doesn't make sense financially.
However, but I think, what would be funny? I mean, everyone says if we sell him now, we're going to be clowns. But if we get 50 million for a 34-year-old on his last year of the contract and give him to a club that's on the verge of bankruptcy, I don't think people are going to look at it as us being weak, but us being smart about it. And also, how funny would it be for Lewandowski to go to Barcelona to win the Ballon d'Or, but Ronaldo coming in, winning the Champions League, and then winning the Ballon d'Or with Bayern?
Okay, that would be hilarious.
That alone is motivation for me.
You guys think Bayern will take a risk on not selling Lewandowski until 12th of July and see if he actually arrives on training or not, and then decide? But I think if we do that and he actually strikes, we will be even bigger clowns. If he actually strikes, right?
Yep.
So I think that deal will be done before the 12th of July.
No, but if he strikes but has no chance of leaving, he's only going to hurt himself. I mean, that would be the equivalent of us putting him on the in the stands, because but I don't think that's going to happen. Make what you will of Lewandowski. He is not as unprofessional as to actually ruin an entire year of his career just for just to be in the right.
Sell him to Barca and give us Barca in the Champions League. Or please.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. We talked a little bit about it at the beginning, and I feel like it's time to deep dive into it. Matthijs de Ligt to Bayern.
Oh, let's go.
Who wants to start? Just in depth. Where do you think he'll play? Will he play? Who will he replace? Let's assume Pavard stays for now. So that's the key thing. Let's assume Pavard stays. He doesn't get sold. But we still buy Matthijs de Ligt, and we're not selling any centre-backs. So we're not... How do I phrase this? We're not selling anyone who would make space for him. Go. Yeah. Open round. Talk. Let me know what you think.
I think he should have came to Bayern back then. I think we really... Now, it seems like we're going to... I don't know if it's... How close are we to get him? I don't know, but I think he should have been at the club back then when he was sold from Ajax. He should have never gone to Juventus with an aging squad like that. I just never thought that would... I didn't think that was the best for his development, but say he comes, I think, and we don't sell any defenders, I think we got to play 3 in the back, right? Like, we can't have 5 center backs for a 4 in the back, whereas there's only 2 center backs playing. I think we would be playing 3 in the back, and I think with De Ligt, the thing about De Ligt is he's super young, but he also has very good leadership experience. He was captaining Ajax at 17, 18, 19 years old. That's crazy to be captaining a team like Ajax, a club of that stature. So I think he could grow into a defensive leader, and I think if he was the central center back of a back 3 with Lucas to his left, Pavard to his right, I think that's pretty strong. In my opinion, that's a pretty formidable back 3 in a 3 in the back. So I think with De Ligt, you're getting a guy who's still young, who's still developing, who still is nowhere near his prime, but he's certainly playing at a high level. So I think it's a great signing. I think he would definitely strengthen our squad. It's an upgrade on Sula. I think that it's safe to say that. The only worry I have about De Ligt is his ability to play out the back. He has decent ball playing abilities out the back, but I'm interested to see if he comes, how he adjusts to being in a team that dominates every game, because Juventus isn't the Juventus he's been at, isn't the Juventus that of previous that made 2 Champions League finals. They were kind of they weren't a very high possession team, so I'm interested to see what he looks like in a team where they dominate most of the game. So yeah.
Good. Who wants to go next?
I guess
the balls in everyone's court. Speak.
Yes, my guy. So I think with the 3 in the back, Hokage said, he's definitely gonna be in the middle to lead whoever's to his left and to his right. And I don't know even if we do sign him and sell no one, I don't know if it's certain we do go to 3 at the back, because we have so many attackers. It's hard to fit them all if you do 3 at the back, and midfielders too, especially if you get Laimer. So I think he's gonna keep going back and forth between 3 at the back and 2 at the back. If it's 2 at the back, it'll probably be De Ligt and Lucas. I think he'll be overall a very good signing for the long term and short term, just because of the leadership qualities. And I think based off his time at Ajax, he is pretty good on the ball. He did score a fair amount of goals. He does push up quite a bit. I think he was a victim of how Juventus kept transitioning between Allegri, Pirlo, and then Sarri, and how they played. So I think when he does come to Bayern, there's going to be more stability, especially since he's going to be the leader now. He won't be led under Chiellini and Bonucci. He'll be the main guy in the defense for years to come for Bayern. So I think that's going to benefit him a lot.
Can I also just say one thing? I like Nagelsmann. Well, I like Nagelsmann's eye a lot more than Hansi Flick's eye. And what I mean by that is, you know how Hansi Flick had players that he really wanted, a.k.a. Werner,
Yeah.
a.k.a.
Atrocious
Havertz.
take.
Yeah.
Atrocious take.
Yeah.
I like Nagelsmann in that regard a lot more than Hansi Flick. I'm not going to lie.
That's true. Oh gosh, yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Well,
so I'm ready for Werner's incredible World Cup run this fall to be our starting striker.
I hope Nagelsmann has an eye for words.
True.
I think you need to be blind to not have an eye for Wirtz, if I'm being honest. Like I think everyone has an eye for Wirtz, if we're being completely honest.
What was the new contract he signed till 2027 at Leverkusen?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be expensive if we ever want to buy him in the future.
I think it'll be next year, but we'll see.
No, I think it's will be 2024 after the home Europa. Yeah, I think after the Germany will host the next
Euros,
European, US, right? Yeah, I think after that he might leave, which is crazy. I think he will still leave for 100 plus, and I don't even know if we can afford that, but I really hope we do. But that's another topic. We go back to the Ligt, I guess.
Exactly. Wirtz, I'm sure in 2 years' time or so, or maybe even in winter, when he should be back. And well, actually, no, not in winter because that's when the World Cup is on. My goodness. But I'm sure it'll be a topic in the future that we'll probably talk about for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. I don't think that will be an easy transfer, in all honesty. But yeah, De Ligt. I hate the fact that his name is De Ligt and not Delight. It just bothers me so much. I'm gonna get it wrong. If you just join, I'm gonna get it wrong with all the thumbnails, with all the titles. It's the reason I don't want him to join. For that simple
Bayern
reason.
is the light to confirm the light. That's it. That will be the tweet.
That would be awful. like earlier. Sorry to go on a random tangent, but earlier when we were discussing how long is Sané's contract, I just searched like service Leroy Sané, and I saw the YouTube video that like the official Bayern channel posted when we signed Sané, and it's the worst thing ever.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
It's actually the worst thing I've ever seen in my life, and I make terrible content. I make absolutely awful videos because I don't put time into this, right? I just record first take and I don't care. But that video is even worse somehow. I don't know how.
Fella with signing a youth player, even they get sometimes better presentation. It's crazy.
But yeah, De Ligt. Let's talk more about De Ligt. Sorry about my random tangent. So, okay, here's my question. Do people think, and I think, actually, no, I don't think this, but I'll ask this regardless. Do people think, because we're going to be spending, let's just say 80 million, right? Let's keep it at 80 million.
That's crazy.
If we spend 80 million on Matthijs de Ligt, do people think he's going to be a starter?
Yes.
Of course.
Definitely, he must be, yeah.
But we did say the same thing about Hernandez and
that's the reason why I always said the 80 million.
I knew it. I knew where you were going with this.
Because we paid that same fee for Lucas Hernandez, and Hernandez is great, but it's clear he's not the leader that we thought we got. But we bought him very young as well, which De Ligt is. We bought him because we thought he could turn into a leader, which we're buying De Ligt for as well because we think he can be a leader / is a leader. Are we just repeating is history just repeating itself?
Nah.
Yeah, but as the boys said earlier, De Ligt has a impressive CV when it comes to leadership at Ajax, and I think also he's one of the core players for the Netherlands. So in that regard, he's different to Hernandez.
I think the mistake we made with Hernandez is that Hernandez isn't a guy you give the captain's armband to. I think Hernandez is one of those guys in the team that's like a shadow captain. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's not the main. He's not like a Neuer. He's not a Muller. He's like someone, in the back that.
Goretzka.
Yeah, he's like kind of like that. I think that's the mistake we made, assuming that he would be like Neuer captain, like level, like putting the captain's armband on. You know what I mean? I think with De Ligt, it's easier to say that he can do that because of the fact that at 16 he was captaining the Ajax first team. So yeah.
I mean, did you all see that speech De Ligt gave as a teenager at Ajax? That was crazy to me. Like, to have this guy as like a potential captain at Bayern at the back is going to be so good for us. Because I think with Lucas, he was never really like a captain at Atletico, was he? And he wasn't for France either. So I think, like everyone said, De Ligt has a proven track record.
Lucas will always be reduced to his price tag, and that's so sad. Honestly, well, I think it's just what he has to live with.
Okay, interesting. Here's my next question then. Kind of follows the last question, but I guess here's the next question. Is there a change happening at Bayern right now? Where previously, I'm gonna say previously, I'm talking about like last season. I know it sounds like ages ago, but like from last season, which all the way into like 5 years ago, there was a clear focus, I would say, a very clear focus to get French talent in, whether that's French centre backs, whether that's French midfielders, or whether that's French forwards. This season alone, we've gotten 3 players. Well, okay, let me rephrase that. This season alone, we've already gotten 2 players that used to play in the Netherlands, Ajax specifically, and with De Ligt, we're getting another player that used to play at Ajax in the Netherlands. Is there a shift happening right now, or do you think with us still going after Mathys Tel, that Bayern is still intrigued and interested in the French market? Perhaps not as much as they were, let's say, last year or 2 years or 3 years ago.
I think they might just be looking for cohesion, especially in the back line. Because let's be honest, that's the one thing that we did not do well last season. And with Mazraoui, with De Ligt, with Gravenberg also being able to play defensively, I think that's what they're looking for. I don't think they are off the French market yet. They're still very much interested in that.
Can I just counter your point before I ask the same question I just asked to all the other people? Didn't we have cohesion last season? We've had Lucas Hernandez, we've had Upamecano or Nianzou, and we had Pavard. That's 3 players that speak French. Isn't there a sort of unity and cohesion there?
It should be.
It didn't show on the pitch.
Yeah, but it's one thing speaking the same language. It's another being educated by the same club in Ajax, which have a rather strong football playing identity.
Mm-hmm. Well, I also think our defensive. We're talking about defensive cohesion, right, in the back line.
Yeah.
Yep.
I also think last season is tough to judge because I also think our back line was not helped by the performance of our midfield and attackers giving away the ball really easily and very stupid positions way too often. So I think there's a lot of times where, like, the Villarreal first leg is the perfect example. The amount of times Sane lost the ball, the amount of times Kimmich was misplacing passes and stuff like that, it constantly, and it wasn't just that first leg against Villarreal. Constantly, we weren't efficient with the ball going forward, and we were always losing it in very stupid positions, and it was constant. And you could be an amazing backline, but I guarantee you, even at Liverpool, if Liverpool is losing the ball the way Bayern was, our team was losing the ball last season, even Van Dijk would struggle because it's hard. Because imagine this: you're like, okay, we have the ball, we're going forward, we're setting up our highline, and all of a sudden, Leroy Sané, like as many times he did last season, he's coasting on the ball and he gets nicked off the ball, and they're counterattacking with 5 players against our 3 in the back. You know what I mean? So it's tough to judge our cohesion when the defense was not being helped at all with our efficiency with the ball in attack.
Very, very interesting, because if you've noticed, and I've slowly been guiding this conversation with my questions, there is one name from the rumors that we haven't actually talked about, and that is Konrad Laimer. And I've purposely avoided talking about him, and I was trying to slowly guide the conversation into that direction, but not yet. So you kind of sped up that process. So let's talk about Laimer and De Ligt together, because I do agree with you, and that's why I was trying to guide that conversation that way. Is De Ligt? I mean, De Ligt is obviously an amazing player. And if we can get him, absolutely go for it. But is he going to be the solution to our problems? Or is it De Ligt and Laimer that will be the solution to our problems? Or maybe neither? Daniel, what are your thoughts on that? We've not heard from you too much lately.
I think we do need to. I like having an out-and-out DM. I don't think Laimer is that, but I think for the way Nagelsmann plays, he wants like someone with intensity who's like really press resistant and who can like push the team. So I think it'll be a combination of Laimer and De Ligt. So I think we would need to get both, just because I think Laimer can hold the midfield together better than what we have, especially since Goretzka is pretty injury prone and Kimmich can't do it by himself. So I think we would need him. And it'll be interesting to see what happens with Sabitzer if we do get Laimer, because a part of me is scared that like it could be Sabitzer 2.0, especially because of the midfield depth we have with like Kimmich, Goretzka, Zvonarek maybe getting first team football. So
he's probably going to get loaned out, honestly.
Yeah. So, but I think we would need someone like Laimer in the team to help with like the cohesion between midfield and defense.
It's funny that you didn't mention Gravenberg.
Oh yeah, I forgot about him too. Yeah.
Okay. What's everyone else's thought on both Laimer and De Ligt?
Perfect transfers, in my opinion. Like, Laimer is maybe the player we are looking for, or we've been missing the last season, right? And De Ligt, but I mean, you can't ask me. I'm just a fan. Like, I can't like giving you an objective opinion on that because I would always tell you he's the best. I think he actually is. I think he will be our best player in like a few years. Getting him at 22.
Sorry.
Second best. Nianzou still exists.
Sorry. Sorry. Did we just forget about Musiala?
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I choked on my kebab there because I can't believe you forgot about Musiala. Seriously.
No, you're right. Musiala's better, but still, De Ligt, bro. Nah, I think he'll be great. I think, but I'm just not sure whether we play 3 at the back or like 4 at the back. And if we play 4 at the back, will it mean Upamecano has to fight for his position? Would be kind of weird because we paid 40 million for him just to bench him the next season. That's why I think it will be the 3 at the back. But if we play the 3 at the back, who will be like taken out of the other positions? Like I can't see Müller being left out. I can't see anyone else being left out. Honestly, I don't know. It will be difficult. We need to do an updated lineup at the end.
Well,
sure.
now, don't worry. I was thinking about that. There were 2 questions that I was going to ask at the very end of this discussion. The last 2 questions I was going to ask were: 1, what would you give Salihamidzic? What would you give Brazo as a rating if X, Y, and Z transfers happen? So that's getting repeated from last week. And the second question is, what will be your lineup for next season? But again, those will be the last 2 questions I will ask. So forget about those for now. And let's talk more about De Ligt and Laimer. Tawassif, what are your thoughts?
De Ligt and Laimer. As I've said last time when we spoke, I want that Laimer type of player, that the pressing machine, someone hopefully who can also be disgusting when facing him. And that's one thing I think we lacked last year. I mean, Goretzka and Kimmich, as much as I love those 2 guys, those 2 together, they haven't worked out for us well. So obviously, having having Laimer in the lineup at least should give us more flexibility against the types of teams that we've struggled against. And also De Ligt, I mean, we've been saying we need a defensive leader, and that's what we're getting, like literally the defensive leader in world football. So yeah, I'm very happy with those 2. If those 2 were to come in, those are my thoughts, basically.
Okay. Hokage, I mean, you kind of talked about it earlier, but I'll ask you the question anyway. What are your thoughts on both the signings of De Ligt and Laimer?
De Ligt, I mean, I'm personally just really high on De Ligt, so I think he would do well. I don't see why he wouldn't do well in a team that typically dominates every game they play.
Okay.
But Laimer's a weird one because, don't get me wrong, I like Laimer, but is he? It's weird because at Leipzig, it's not like he was just an out and out like pressing defensive midfielder.
Mhm.
He often really get involved in the attack. So is he really? Because Kimmich likes to get forward. We know. I think Kimmich. It's kind of like a misconception that Kimmich is a DM. I think Kimmich really is like an 8. The further he goes forward, the better.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
I
agree.
agree.
With Laimer, at Leipzig, I saw a lot of Laimer getting involved in the attack. So I don't know. Maybe we'll reduce his role to like, okay, press, but you don't need to go up and into the attack as much. I don't know how that'll work out. I'm interested to see. Because it's very evident that Nagelsmann wants him. Like, if Nagelsmann didn't want him, we wouldn't be going for him. Basically, it's the only reason we're going for him is because Nagelsmann is pushing for this. Now that does worry me a little bit because also Nagelsmann was pushing in to bring Sabitzer, and Sabitzer, for whatever reasons, has not been impressive at all.
Mhm.
So that kind of worries me. Can he be Sabitzer 2.0? I doubt it because just the energy I saw Laimer play with last season. Like, if you remember I think it was the Dortmund game. Man, that guy was amazing in the Dortmund game. I think he scored 2 of the goals. He was pivotal to one of them. He was pressing Jude Bellingham down and winning the ball back. So it definitely doesn't hurt to have Laimer in the team. It definitely improves the squad. So.
Okay, interesting. Sorry, just to not shift topic, but just to say an update. This time it's from Kicker, so probably I would say perhaps the least credible source for Bayern at the moment between like the big 3, that we've got in terms of Sky Sports, Bild, and Kicker. I would say Kicker is definitely at the bottom with Bild in number 2 and Sky Sports, just mainly because of Pletty, honestly, at number 1 at the moment. So that's kind of the rating, how I would put it. But
What about
Kicker,
spot 1?
sorry,
Spot 1?
no, the first spot is what did I just say? Sky Sports.
No,
Yeah.
no, he means Sport 1, the German
Yeah.
sports channel.
Well, they're not. Come on, they're not credible in the slightest.
You mean Kerry is fine, I guess. I think he's actually not that bad. He knows a little bit.
Okay, point is Kicker is not reliable. Can we agree with that?
I wouldn't agree, actually. I think they were the first one who reported that we need a central back leading player. I think they actually were the ones who said we were looking for one. And they were right.
All right, okay, they are reliable then. Sheesh. So according to them, Matthijs de Ligt is interested in a move to Bayern, and the interest is mutual. We've heard all the reports basically say this part, that the interest is mutual. In addition, Bayern have an advantage over Chelsea as they always maintain contact with de Ligt. In addition, he would reunite with former teammates Mazraoui and Gravenberg, represented by the same agency. De Ligt has a 120 million euro release clause, but Juventus would be willing to sell for around 80 million euros. This fee represents a big hurdle for Bayern, who could use Juventus' interest in Benjamin Pavard as a solution to include him in a potential deal. Pavard actually wanted to establish himself into a defensive leader at Bayern, but de Ligt's potential signing would affect the Frenchman's sporting perspective and make him rethink his desire to stay. Interesting. What's everyone's thoughts on that then? I mean, the first part, I think most people already saw early today that, the interest is mutual. We are interested in de Ligt and he's interested in us, so on and so forth. I think most people, guessed that it would cost around 80 million, which, that Kicker is saying as well. And we kind of speculated as well that, Pavard might be, a potential. Actually, no, we didn't. We talked about Pavard leaving, but we didn't talk about him being a potential swap deal plus money with de Ligt. what's people's thoughts on that?
That's kind of what I was saying. I thought that's why I said I think Pavard could leave, is to bring down the actual amount of money we give Juventus in a cash plus player, because I think Pavard, I don't know where would you guys value Pavard on like the transfer market, like a 30 million player, 40 million player?
Considering that we bought him for 35 million, I think that was his release clause when he was at Stuttgart.
Yeah.
I would say he's got 2 years left. If we sell him to an English club, I would say 30 to I would say 40 million pounds. So around 45 million euros if we sell him to an English club. But if we sell him to like a European club, I'd say probably like 35 to 40 million. I don't think like his value has increased that much.
Yeah.
If at all. Yeah, honestly, that's really what it boils down to.
35.
I think 35 is honestly fair.
35. So like that would cut the amount of money we give to Juventus like down by half if we want to get De Ligt. It's just the only problem I have with that is I don't want Pavard. Like if this was like Upamecano, we're giving Upamecano.
No, but what?
No.
But
Nah,
I have to disagree there.
your
I think
opinion is
Upamecano
invalid.
has such a high ceiling.
Yeah.
It would be a waste to let him go now.
Pavard is a French national team player. That's
oh
including.
no, I'm just saying like as a bias, because I like Pavard so much. Like I would like to see. I would rather have Upamecano just because of my own bias of the players I like the most at Bayern. But yeah, it just sucks because like if De Ligt comes, what do you guys? I don't know. Does that stunt Upamecano? Like how much game time will he get? Because that's also like an issue I kind of have with this too. Like, what happens to Upamecano?
Well, it all depends. I think it all boils down to whether we'll play a back three or back four.
Yeah, that's definitely it.
Yeah. Because honestly, I can't see our defense. Yeah, true. Because there's no way we'll go injury free in defense. I'm pretty sure. Like,
No way.
How it's been the
Absolutely
last
zero
years.
chance.
Yeah, someone's gonna get injured for a couple months or something. So I think he should be fine actually.
Yeah, I think kicker is actually. I think they're right whether we could like use Pavard for the league. Let's see if that's possible for us to negotiate that way. But even if not, if we sell him to any other club, we will get in 35 million. We could use that for the league. What I was wondering was if we, the discussion that we might like go away from the classic, like no number 9, go to this like Liverpool style of play. You know what they used to play.
Yep.
And the thing that bothers me is like now they're signing strikers, like now they signed the Haalands and Nunez, and now we are going for this play style or might go for this play style. Are we like now going to the worst play style and they are going back to the better one, or is it like just the type of players you got and you got to adapt to that?
You know what? I'll let someone else take this one because I know I'm going to talk a lot if I do tackle this one. So if anyone else wants to tackle that question, go ahead, be my guest.
No, Prince, go ahead and tell us your.
Basically, I think the thing with Liverpool is obviously Salah rather.
Okay.
Just recently extended his contract. I think the thing with Liverpool is that they are not so much going for these inverted wingers like they have in the past that can then act as forwards, but they're slowly transitioning to actually, how would I phrase this? Their wingers being much more centrally than in the past. So they're not hogging the touchline and then, going inside, being inverted wingers and trying to get, forward and trying to almost like draw an arrow. With Trent being as good creatively as he is, I think they're slowly shifting their style because they realize they don't need as much, how would I phrase this? They don't need as much creativity from their attack. They don't need as much. They don't need their attack to do as much as they did previously, and that's mainly because of their fullbacks being so creatively good. which is why I think now they're going to rely a lot more on Trent to assist, which means that you can have your traditional strikers. You don't need your quick, pacey forwards. Instead, you can have your forwards go centrally, go wide, do whatever really, be more flexible, because you've got your fullbacks in both Trent and Robertson to give you one width, but two also that creativity. And I think that's really the big reason why they are shifting. While they're bringing in your more traditional attackers, your central attackers like a striker or number 9 or false 9 or whatever. And I think that's really the big reason why they've realized the abilities of the fullbacks.
So you think that's not like if we do that, we are not going for an outdated tactic or some stuff? It's just like
tactics are never outdated. I mean, you look at Jurgen Klopp. His tactic is basically just what's the guy's name? I can't even. I wouldn't even be able to say it. The Italian coach from the 90s and what's the other guy? Helmut Rhein, I want to say, from Germany from the 90s, and he's basically just combined those two, and really that's what it is. And tactics can never be outdated. You just work on strategies. But yeah, with all that said, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to talk about this player a little bit, just a tiny little bit, before we kind of wrap it up, I guess. So the player I'm talking about, I think people actually know what, I'm going to keep it a secret. I'm going to keep it a secret a little bit while I build my narrative. So there is no bias here, right? Okay, how do I phrase this? There was a player that went for about, let's just say 60 million. I don't know the exact fee, but let's just say 60 million, right? Midfielder. Not defensively, not a defensive midfielder, but defensively in nature. So like a box-to-box midfielder that was very good defensively, was very good when it came to interceptions. Not so much pressing, but very good with interceptions and tackling. Right? I'm not naming any names, just to paint that picture. Would it have been wise for Bayern to get that midfielder that was at the very top of the game in terms of tackling and in terms of interceptions, and he was very young, so you get a lot of years out of him, and then go for a cheaper centre-back rather than a more expensive centre-back in Matthijs de Ligt, and in this case, a pressing machine. So not necessarily a great at interception and not great at tackling, but more so great at initiating and executing pressings. Would it have not been wiser for Bayern to go for the more established? Because I think all of us agreed that our big issue wasn't our defense, it was our midfield. So would it not have been wiser for Bayern to spend that money on that young, talented midfielder and then a cheaper defender rather than a more expensive defender and a cheaper midfielder? And actually, you know what? Now that I've painted the narrative, I'll mention the player as well. I'm talking about Tchouaméni.
I was going to guess Camavinga.
No. Although that could have been a great shout, but that was last season, so that's why.
That's tough because I think the moment Real Madrid contacted him, I think it was over. Because I think...
Yeah, he's a fan.
Yeah, I think the moment Real Madrid went in for him, I think no other club stood a chance. And we definitely cannot... In terms of money, I don't think we have the ability to compete with Real Madrid when a player wants to obviously go to the club. It's tough to... I don't know. I think... But you are right in saying, well, if our transition from attack to defense when we were losing the ball is the issue, why didn't we go for Tchouaméni? That's a really good point. It's just I think no other team really stood a chance with him really once Real Madrid called. So, yeah.
I get where you're coming from. Like, yeah, as we agreed, midfield is like our problem. But I think Nagelsmann is actually like determined on what's his name? Laimer. So I think it's quite. I think it makes sense to go for the league then and go for Laimer, because then Laimer is the more cheaper uh, option in the midfield, but you get the expensive one in the central back. I think it's just swap, if you know what I mean. Yeah, he wanted Real Madrid only, as Timon said. Or Gavi would be someone I would have wanted as well, but I think it was quite possible to get, to be fair.
I wish we got Rodri when we were interested in him, like 2 seasons ago, 3 seasons
I
ago.
think it was more than just interest, right? I think
Yeah.
we could have gotten him if we were like serious.
That's the type of player like I think would solve a lot of issues, but obviously we missed out on him.
Okay, Daniel, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think in like hindsight, it's fair to say we could have gone for like Tchouaméni, but like I think who was it? Hokage maybe said that like when Real Madrid calls, he's going to go there because they have the biggest pull in football. If they call, you're going to go there. So I don't think we had any chance to compete with them. I do think we do need a type of player like that just to solidify the midfield, because like Kimmich is not a 6 like everyone said. He's better as like an 8 or like further up. And then Götze's box to box. I really wish we got like Camavinga last summer. I think it would have been really good for us, but it's the Real Madrid pull. But I do think we need to find a player like that who can solidify the midfield. Hopefully it can be Laimer, but we'll see. I mean, we have Nkili too that we just signed for the future, so maybe he can be that type of player.
Talasif?
I mean, the point that you've made is definitely interesting, but I just don't know that much about Germany, to be honest. So I can't really comment on that. I've seen De Ligt, I rate De Ligt, so I'm just gonna have to go for that option by default because I don't know that much about Germany.
De Ligt or nix.
Exactly.
Fair enough. Well, okay. Just wrapping up a few questions. Is Rocker bad? Just
He's not
briefly.
Bayern relevant.
Okay. Just briefly, I think so as well. I think whenever he played pretty well. I think honestly he was done hard by Bayern, a little bit unfair. Bayern, I think Bayern treated him quite unfairly because I feel like he did perform every time he played, but apparently in training he wasn't as great. So I don't know. And I do agree with this that he'll do fine at Leeds. Now, interesting. How do I phrase this? Interesting thought that just occurred to me. We got rid of Rocker and Tolisso left. We got Gravenberg in, and now we're looking at Laimer. Last season, and let me just phrase that and emphasize that, before we did any transfers and before we sold/bought any players, so let's just take us back to January of this year, with the current team that we had at that point, people said we have no squad depth. We haven't really done much in terms of adding additional squad depth to the squad. If we're being honest, the players that have left, we've replaced them. Is that a worry? That we don't have this squad depth that people were complaining about in January. But now that we're replacing the players, people are seemingly happy. There's no outcry of, we don't have the squad depth to play a long season. And it kind of goes back to a comment that I've seen a few times now about this being a World Cup year. And I don't know who posted it. I think it might have been Timor that posted it a few times. That, it's a World Cup year. We really need that squad depth. Do we have it?
I think so, to be honest, because I think with like Tolisso, he was super injury prone. Like he was gone for the whole season, and when he did play, it wasn't too well. Now we have like Gravenberg, probably Laimer. I'm hoping Konrad gets games too. So like the midfield's stacked already. If you bring De Ligt and you maybe keep Pavard, you have a lot of center backs to work with there. Stanisic can play right back too. Pavard can play there. Left back, you can have Lucas. You can have Omar Richards, Davies. I think we have like depth all over the place now. I think it only depends on striker if Lewandowski stays or goes, because then we would need a striker. That's the only thing I would question.
I always am confused with all these squad depth things because honestly, what do people expect? Like, we are not an oil club. We can't afford to put someone with like 10 million plus wages on the bench just to be, oh yeah, if he's injured, you will be playing Bo. Yeah, that's the only reason you're even in this club. I actually don't think that it's like something which is like affordable for us. That's why I'm always like, if Pavard stays, that means one of them actually has to play on the bench, like for the most, like he has to sit on the bench for the most time of the season. But he's still earning a lot of money, right? Rather than just having like someone like Stanisic who will be playing if he needs to play. But then people complain, oh yeah, we lost in the semifinals to Real Madrid because we were playing with Stanisic at the right back and we had no squad depth. But honestly, what do you expect? Having a Trent Arnold at the bench? I actually don't get it. Like, it's always difficult to me to understand these kind of allegations with squad depth.
Yeah, I'm also quite content actually, because not only do we have depth, we do also have some flexibility. I mean, we have multiple players who can play multiple roles well enough. I mean, for instance, that's one of the reasons as to why I would be slightly sad that Pavard leaves, because he can play at both centre back and right back well. Not world class, but well. Same goes for Lucas Hernandez. He can play left back, he can play centre back. So the fact that we do have this tactical flexibility going forward, especially if we do axe Lewandowski and get in maybe a less prolific goal scorer, but we can then like alternate between false nine and real nine much more without having to bench someone who's on 25 million euros a year. I think that would be good enough. I mean, look around Europe. Sure, you have your PSGs with their insane squad depth, but have they ever won the Champions League? No. Same goes for City. I mean, yeah, they dominate the league, but I don't care about that. They haven't pulled their weight in the Champions League. That's irrespective of their squad depth. You just, yeah, I'm content with it. I mean, they're good. The backup players are good enough in most positions to challenge the starters. In most positions, not every position, obviously, but in most of them. So I am quite optimistic as things stand right now, and as they're rumored to be in a few weeks' time when the new season kicks off. So yeah, I'm quite happy.
Okay. Coolio. Interesting. Let's get to the final few questions then. Ha 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 ha. I hope you all thought about those, because quite frankly, we're going to start with the first one. Okay. Well, it's the first question, but you know how it has multiple parts, as always. So let's say we sign Matthijs de Ligt. We sign, I can't believe I'm saying this. We sign Cristiano Ronaldo. We sign Mathys Tel. We sign Konrad Laimer. I don't know where we're getting all this money from. And Pavard stays. And Lewandowski
come on, bro. Come back realistic at least.
No,
What about Gnabry?
Gnabry stays as well. So, as I said, that's why I said it's the final question. We're breaking it up into multiple parts, based on.
Yeah, this is going to take a while.
Yeah. So let's say, as I said, I'll just repeat it quickly. Matthijs de Ligt joins Bayern. Cristiano Ronaldo joins Bayern. Mathys Tel joins Bayern. Konrad Laimer joins Bayern. Pavard stays at Bayern. Lewandowski stays at Bayern. And Gnabry stays at Bayern. How do you rate this transfer window? Now, keep in mind the signings that we've made and the outgoings that have the players that have left. How do you rate this transfer window? How do you rate Brazo's work for this summer window?
I can't.
Should we go in order?
Yeah, I was just going to say, just go in order quickly.
Yeah, if you have to consider the wages, it's a 0 out of 10. If you have to consider wages, it would be so dumb. It would be the end of the club. Like, I'm not even joking. If we don't have to consider the wages, it's a 10 out of 10. So yeah, that's my opinion on that.
Same here.
10 out of 10, because you can have Lewandowski sit with the B team and then have Ronaldo at striker, but realistically, it's probably like a 0, like was said before.
Yeah, for me too. It absolutely depends on the wages and whether we have extended Gnabry. That's you didn't say that, but whether we extended with Gnabry or we just let him stay on for a year and move on for
Okay,
free.
we extend with him.
For how much?
I think it's 19 million, right?
Yeah,
It's on the
18 to
table.
20 mil. 18 to 20
Yeah.
mil, somewhere there.
I don't know. All right. If everyone else does not exceed the wage of 20 million a year, I'd say still say a 5 out of 10 because this type of wage bill is not sustainable. But for
All
one
right.
season,
Okay,
you'd have.
okay. 1 second. I'll add this as well, just for you. And we
Thank
get a new sponsorship deal with Prince Royal Limited, who give the club 50 million a year. Actually, no, let's make it 100 million a year for naming rights of the seats or of the cafeteria in the stadium.
Then it's a 10 out of 10. We've scammed everyone.
But what are you on about? What shall we do? Oh, the worst. We're getting players for free. Who would be saying no? Okay.
What about you,
Okay,
Hokage?
Hokage. Go ahead, Hokage. I think you don't want to deal with this bullshit.
Yeah. I think he just he got scared
He's
off.
here for the serious questions.
All right. Okay. Next scenario then. Matthijs de Ligt joins Bayern, but Pavard leaves.
Sorry, my
Cristiano,
mic wasn't working. Well, my rating for the
for everyone joining and no one leaving.
I mean, the scenario you put out, it would be 10 out of 10, right? So, like, yeah, if someone comes and pays 100 million for the naming rights of the cafeteria, we're set. 10 out of 10 transfer window.
All right. Okay, next one. Matthijs de Ligt joins Bayern, but Pavard leaves to Juventus. Bayern pay 40 million euros to Juventus in addition to Pavard and de Ligt swap deal. Ronaldo joins Bayern. Mathys Tel joins Bayern. Laimer joins Bayern. Lewandowski is not allowed to leave. And Gnabry extends by 2 years.
Oof, that's a very good window for me personally. I have to say that because you'd have probably one of the strongest squad for a year as long as Lewandowski stays, and basically, yeah, that's it. You do have the strongest squad probably in all of Europe. That's a 7, 8 out of 10. Obviously, I don't know what kind of wages they will be on.
Wait, you said that would be the perfect window and you only gave a 7?
No, perfect. As long as the wage structure doesn't get blown up, because Prince doesn't specify how much they're gonna earn. So I just have to assume it's going to be somewhat reasonable, but still leaves a sour taste in my mouth. So I'm gonna go for a 7.
Just to expand a little bit on it, de Ligt earns 15.
Yeah.
As I said, Ronaldo joins as well, but he'll get 20.
Okay.
With bonuses based on goals, Champions League, so on and so forth. The typical thing that Lewandowski has right now, where he gets up to like 25. Mathys Tel gets 6 million. And Laimer gets 9 million.
Then it's a 9 out of 10 because I believe some of them are slightly overpaid, and I would have
Yeah.
loved to have gotten rid of Lewandowski. But that's it. That's all my problems with it.
Given a 17-year-old 9 million. But okay. I would give it a. As good as it sounds, I don't want us to keep Lewandowski and get Ronaldo. I think that's dumb, in my opinion. So it's a 6. I would still be hyped, but keeping Lewandowski would just feel weird.
Yeah, I'd go with Noggles. I'd give it like 7 because Lewandowski.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, what about you? You don't say anything.
Oh, sorry. I would give it a. I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Okay.
Is what I'd give it. Mainly actually because of Gravenberg and Nazroui and Mane.
Well, you think they are not good signings?
No, I think they are good signings, which is why I would
Oh.
give it that high.
Wait, do you know when we last discussed about the Mane
Yep.
signing and we were talking about it all depends on the wages?
Yep.
And how are the wages? I never checked that. I think it's pretty high, right?
Mane is like 18, 17, 18.
With bonuses, though, I think without bonuses, he's like 13, 14.
Yeah, something like that.
That's a great deal.
Hokage Poya, since you're back, first, welcome. And here's the second scenario. Matthijs de Ligt joins Bayern. Pavard is sold. Ronaldo joins Bayern. Mathys Tel joins Bayern. Laimer joins Bayern. Gnabry, what did I say? Gnabry extends for 2 years, and Lewandowski stays as well. Now, in terms of wages, De Ligt is on 15, Ronaldo on 20, that can go up to 25. Tel is on 9, Laimer is on, what did I say, 12? Yeah, what would your thoughts be at that point?
I'd give that. Yeah, that'd be an 8 because I think we only end up losing one player in Pavard, even though that sucks. I prime Pavard, but I'd give that like 8 out of 10 because we're reinforcing the squad a bunch. I guess the only scenario that I worry about is, are we like, how do you work around Lewandowski, Ronaldo, in terms of playing time? If Lewandowski rots on the bench as revenge for his statements, but yeah, I'd give it like 8 out of 10.
Okay. Now, next scenario. De Ligt joins Bayern. Ronaldo doesn't. Mathys Tel doesn't. And Konrad Laimer does. Pavard stays. I'm sorry.
What about Lewandowski?
Lewandowski stays, and Gnabry extends by 2 years.
I could live with that. 8. Yeah, 8.
Nah, I'm already on the hype train of the next Mbappe, so that will drag down my rating.
There's a new French prodigy every single year. Don't worry about it. Just wait until Archiche or Turkey are much more in the news. But
Probably
okay.
a 6. Probably a 6. What about you, Daniel?
7 because I want Lewandowski gone. Any scenario he stays doesn't get higher than 8.
Jeez.
Yeah, I'd go 7.5 for this one, this scenario.
Just letting you know, right? We did sign Mane, Gravenberg, and
True.
just saying.
True, I forgot about those.
Yeah, but you have to consider them in every rating, right? So it doesn't matter.
In every rating.
Lewandowski
Yeah.
tax. It's Lewandowski tax.
Lewandowski tax, yeah.
Wow. Okay. We're switching things up then. Matthijs de Ligt joins Bayern. Ronaldo doesn't. Mathys Tel does, but gets loaned out for a season. Konrad Laimer joins Bayern. Pavard is sold. Lewandowski is sold. Gnabry is sold.
Why would we sell all our attacking player and loan this guy out? It
Yeah,
doesn't make sense. Let's
That's
loan out
actually quite
Nagelsmann.
fun.
Prince,
We're
that's a
trusting-
horrible take.
We're trusting our youth more in Vidovic. Musiala gets more minutes. Vanna gets more minutes. There you go.
When I got scammed, we agreed on that.
Of course, he got scammed, but yeah, that's not the important thing.
Now you were on the verge of something great, and then you said,
All right,
this,
okay, Gnabry stays. There you go.
okay, if Gnabry stays with it's for me, it's the wait. You have to repeat it again because I forgot.
Matthijs de Ligt. Matthijs de Ligt joins Bayern. Cristiano Ronaldo
Okay.
doesn't. Mathys Tel joins Bayern. Konrad Laimer joins Bayern. Pavard gets sold. Lewandowski gets sold. Gnabry stays.
But does
I mean,
this
that's really-
Mbappé guy gets loaned out or not?
He doesn't for now. And then I'll
10 out
ask
of
the
10.
same question again. He gets
It's a
loaned
10 out
out.
of 10. It's a 10 out of 10 for me.
Me too.
Perfect window. Because like Ronaldo, it's just a dream. I don't think you can really like rate Brazzo on whether he gets him or not. Selling Lewandowski seems to be the right take, and extending Gnabry. I think Gnabry is a player meant for Bayern. I think it's a perfect window. Getting the
Yeah, me too.
I think it's a perfect window for me.
Hokage, Daniel, who wants to go first?
I'd
Between these two?
go 9 out of 10 because I still hate the idea of Pavard leaving, but yeah.
I'm gonna go 9.9 because I want Ronaldo. If it's Ronaldo's in there, it's a 10 out of 10. But without him,
Yeah.
9.9.
It's fair. Yeah.
All right. Next
Okay,
one.
and you? No. It's not your turn.
Me, I'd give that a 9.5 out of 10.
Okay, what's missing?
The only thing that's missing is I want another youth player.
You're
That would
getting
take-
the next Mbappe. What do you want else?
A very young, either goalkeeper or fullback.
Okay.
That's what I would want. But okay, next up.
I'm concerned about our goalkeeping situation. But
Yeah.
that's another topic.
I mean,
That's the-
I can easily see Neuer being not on that level, but still on a very, very good international level for the next 4 to 5 years. But after that, yeah, we're fucked.
Next scenario. Matthijs de Ligt. Matthijs de Ligt doesn't join Bayern.
Good for you. Okay.
Ronaldo joins Bayern.
Ronaldo joins, okay?
Mathys Tel doesn't join Bayern. Laimer doesn't join Bayern. Pavard stays. Lewandowski leaves. And Gnabry stays but doesn't extend. So the only real change,
3 out of 10.
the only real change is Ronaldo in, Lewandowski out.
Yeah, no. That's
Yeah,
And don't forget, we've already made some signings in
all right.
in
5
Mane.
5 out of 10.
Yeah, 5.
Yeah, 5. Because you can't get linked to De Ligt and all these guys and not get them. Your expectations are too high.
Yeah. Brazzo fucked up by telling Plettenberg that we are onto the league because he hyped up all of us. I think it's a done deal. 'Cause otherwise, he wouldn't have told him. It's a done deal, guys. Already ordering my kid.
Inshallah.
Also,
All
Fabrizio said Yildiz is going to Juve, so I think maybe something's there. We promised them Yildiz, maybe Pavard to get De Ligt.
We loaned out Douglas Costa after he was done and took over his wages. They must give us at least a
Oh my
discount.
goodness. Sorry,
Well,
lad.
they probably still are furious about us giving them Douglas Costa.
Sorry, lads. I'm gonna have to quickly update. Another update.
Shut up. What?
It's by everyone's favorite son, Nick
Youngman?
Salihamidzic,
Oh,
Oh no way!
who just went on Twitter saying, "Good afternoon, Twitter. How's everyone doing?"
No way, this guy.
He is the ultimate troll.
This guy, dude.
Every time Bayern is linked to like a star player, or every time Bayern signs a star player, he goes on Twitter to write something. So with the news today of the
That means it's a done deal.
Yeah, true.
know.
Because Mane.
Honest,
It's done.
it's
100%
done.
done.
It's done.
Confirmed.
I mean, it's no. We know it's done on the personal terms. I think it's done on the personal terms. It's just about
Fabrizio-
agreeing on a fee.
Fabrizio will tweet it. Nick Salihamidzic puffs his chest out on Twitter.
Yeah.
No
Confirmed deal.
way.
De Ligt coming.
I think it's about Ronaldo. I think it's about the league.
Tomorrow we're gonna wake up. Putty goes in to confirm the transfer, and Fab and Falcon tap in the transfer.
Barca's the GOAT.
Bro, Nick Salihamidzic is actually going to become like a
It's
Twitter
so
celebrity in 2 years.
funny.
Actually.
Insane.
Bayern will delete his Twitter. Like, they hate him already after he's done. I think they've done some weird tweets. I don't know when, but
Yeah. Maybe he also runs the Arabic Bayern account on Twitter.
Oh, do you know what we should do? If he
But-
doesn't make it to the first team, we hire him for social media manager for Bayern.
it's good.
He's got
But
jokes.
wait, what? Let's be serious. What does that mean? What does that mean that he tweets that? Like, that actually has a meaning, right? He wouldn't be tweeting it. Is it just about the rumors, or is it like already agreed on a personal term, just about agreeing a fee with Juventus?
No, I think
Knows what he's
he
doing.
knows that things are progressing, and I feel like he obviously his father got slandered on Twitter pretty hard, and he took that personally, right? He took it, and I would too, right? If someone
for
came
no
after my
reason,
family,
yeah.
and he's just enjoying the moment, and
He really
fair
is.
play to him. We have a laugh. We can have a laugh, and we can get our information and speculation off of his tweets. So
So yeah, I mean, okay, I've got to just ask this question quickly. Now that Nick Salihamidzic has tweeted that, how likely, how much do you believe that De Ligt is joining Bayern? I'm gonna be honest. I thought I was at like a 7 out of 10 before, and now I'm like, okay, it's happening. It's a 10 out of 10. It's a done deal.
Honestly, I also think that because he wouldn't be tweeting that. Okay, as Tassim said, it's maybe because of his like father and all the hate he's been getting, and now he's like everyone loves him. But you only tweet this if you know more, and if you know more, it's his father, man. He told him De Ligt will be joining us. It's just about I need to talk to Juventus, and then it's a done deal, and he knows that. So it's a done deal, and oh my god, I can't. It's so. I'm so hyped.
It's crazy how many updates we've had just while during the show.
But yeah, go on with your transfer scenario.
All right, next one. De Ligt joins Bayern. Ronaldo doesn't. Mathys Tel doesn't. Laimer joins Bayern. And Pavard stays. Lewandowski stays and leaves. So let's just say, I'm asking both at the same time. He leaves and he stays. And then you've got Gnabry, who stays but doesn't extend.
oh,
So what
every
would
time
you
you just
what would
automatic.
you Lewandowski staying and Lewandowski leaving, basically?
So once you always mention that Gnabry is going to leave without, or is going to stay without extending, it just drags the entire rating down for me.
Well,
So
keep in mind, his official or the news will say he just needs more time to think about it. So it's not he's going to leave at the end of next season or anything of that sort. It's more so he still hasn't made his mind up.
Yeah,
So
but
no,
if he
but-
doesn't
but
make
you
up his
still-
decision,
yeah.
he must be sold. Like,
yeah, because
what is this guy on
you're
about?
setting yourself up so horribly to then like in the next transfer summer, you've got nothing on your hand. You've got no leverage, no nothing. You've got no funds to replace him. You can't make him really stay. If he has a good offer from England, he's gonna go, or from Spain. So that automatically for me can't get higher than a 6 out of 10. Both scenarios, 6 out of 10, 5 for 5.
He has an offer with 90 million. Yeah, go on.
With Mane, Gravenberg, and Nasraoui.
Because
Yeah,
I
but
think
Gnabry is worth so much money. If we can sell
Yeah,
him now, we
exactly.
have to.
My only thing is that if we could keep Gnabry, right, and he has a good season, his price will skyrocket, and if we could sell him for a ton of money, that's like the
Yeah.
only. Because like right now, we would have to take compared to where Gnabry was at 2 seasons ago, like his price has dropped, But if he could just have another good season or something, his price would skyrocket again.
Yeah.
And we could make so much money off him because we only bought him for like
7
less
million.
than 20. Yeah. So
And imagine he does have a good season and becomes undroppable and doesn't extend. We're fucked.
Yeah,
He needs 100
we're
million.
fucked.
Yeah.
And he will score more goals than he did last season just because Lewandowski won't play. I think
This
he will
could-
play.
This could easily turn out to be like a Tony Kroos type of situation where we're like, let him go. He's not that good anyway. And then or
At
maybe
least
the
we got money
the
for
board
him.
would say that. Yeah, at least we
Yes.
got 25 of them. We get nothing. Like I can see that Kroos' ceiling was higher than Gnabry's,
I
but
mean,
still,
sorry,
at least he'd go for free. Such a player would go for free. 2 years ago, other clubs would have paid 100 million plus easily to get Gnabry, and
Okay,
to
you're
use that on
stretching
a
it.
free. Oh no!
100
When
million is a
he
little bit.
when
But they
no
were
when
good.
no that season, the trouble season, when he banged out Chelsea, when he banged out Tottenham, Barcelona, when he single-handedly beat Lyon in the semi-final, especially in England, they were easily. If you had offered him to, I don't know, a club that would have needed him at the time, easily. I don't know.
Can we just agree he has an offer on the table for 90 million? He gets to play, continue to play with his friends, with his best friend Kimmich. He won't be getting more than 90 million in an English club. We are paying good wages. They're not paying that much, even if they're paying probably equal. If he doesn't extend, he shows the club that he doesn't give a fuck, and we need to sell him then. We don't let him play, and then, oh yeah, you can leave us for free. We don't care. Yeah, we gave you an offer which is like ridiculous, to be honest, but you didn't extend. We don't care. Yeah, you can play and just join. I don't know, join Real Madrid or Chelsea the next season for free. We don't care. I don't think we would be doing that, to be fair. Even if you have money, or I don't care. He's too valuable to just running down his contract. No.
Also, what the fuck happened to the deadline? We kept hearing deadline for Gnabry this, deadline for Gnabry
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
What the fuck is the deadline? Like, it should
I
have
think
happened.
the deadline is if he arrives back from the vacation, he must have made his mind. Otherwise, he would be sold. I think that's the deadline.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay, Prince, what is your take? Rangers have rejected.
Oh, he's gone fancy with the.
Just thought I'd show this as well, while we're talking about transfers right now. That Rennes have rejected Bayern's initial offer for Mathys Tel, the 7 million plus add-ons, and they're asking for an exceptional bid. Any thoughts on that? Is because 7 million with bonuses, I think a lot of people would probably have said is fair, but clearly they're thinking, I think 20 million plus bonuses. I think that's what they really mean with that.
Why does Aymir Samir follow you? That's the biggest question.
Oh, he's been following me for a while now.
That's a flex. But yeah, I think we need to pay like 10 plus bonuses. But does that actually mean an exceptional offer? I think they're like crazy and thinking about 15 plus bonuses. Maybe even more, but more than that, I don't know whether we should pay that.
Interesting. All right. Last two scenarios, just to keep it brief and short. Matthijs de Ligt joins. Ronaldo doesn't. And the reason I keep saying Matthijs de Ligt joins is because I now think it's done. That's why that's like not even a question.
Yeah, I also think it's done. Like, man, imagine if it's not done. This guy would be the biggest clown. He already is sometimes, but after that, he does the same thing he did when the money rumor came out, right?
Yeah,
he also did that.
Exactly.
And he knew back then that personal terms were agreed. I think with Liverpool it wasn't agreed back then. I think he just knew that we are about to go all in on him. But now I think he knows that it's possible that this transfer will happen. Or not possible, but it's likely.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, Matthijs de Ligt joins Bayern. Ronaldo does not. Mathys Tel does not. Laimer does. Pavard stays. Lewandowski leaves. And Gnabry extends because he's told, aha, you're going to be our new striker, quote-unquote striker. So he extends.
I mean, I would be okay with that. You haven't mentioned Xerxes going anywhere, so Xerxes as a third backup striker with Nabri and Choupo-Moting. Yeah, it's okay. I'd give it a 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. Yeah, 8.5.
Wait, what was the difference between the one where I gave 10 out of 10? I don't remember. Was there any difference in the scenario you just said?
I think maybe Ronaldo came in the 10 out of
Yeah,
10
Ronaldo
now.
came.
No. That's why you only gave 9.9 because you wanted Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Mathys Tel.
Oh yeah.
He doesn't join.
He doesn't.
Yeah, I mean,
Bayern will bid up to 15 million, but Ren says, nope, that's not what we want. We want more.
even though he's the next Mbappe, I think he's more of a bonus signing. So I will still go 8 to 9, honestly.
I'll give it 9.5.
Yeah.
I
good
give it.
one.
I give it a 9. 9.
For me,
Wait,
Bayern-
Pavard leaves, right?
Stays, right?
Oh, he
Yep.
stays. Yeah,
Yep.
okay, it's even better then. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. I agree with all of you. And then the final one, Matthijs de Ligt joins. Ronaldo joins, but his salary, he agrees that, you know what, I am of a certain age. I do want to join just because I want to win the Champions League once more. So I'll take a drastic pay cut. And his salary is 18 million a year. Mathys Tel doesn't join. Laimer doesn't join because we've spent our money on Ronaldo and Matthijs de Ligt, and we ran out of money for Laimer because Leipzig, they didn't want to deal with us. Pavard stays. Lewandowski, because we bought Ronaldo, the club says, you know what, Lewandowski, you can leave. And Barcelona, they give us 40 million plus 5 million in bonuses. And last but not least, Gnabry extends by a year, says that he'll leave at the end of next season, but he wants to extend so that Bayern can get a fee.
Oh, what a grateful guy.
9.5. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a 10.
For me, it's not a 10 because I'm still lacking that aggressive defensive pressing, not defensive, but pressing player. But it's a pretty good transfer window, I guess. 8.
Who was the one who told us to watch this Tifo video about Konrad Laimer? Wasn't it Daniel?
No, it's
Me, it was
Tausif.
I will see. Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
would say probably. Yeah, Ronaldo for 80 million. That's crazy. That just shows that he is joining this club because he believes in us, right? Which is crazy. I mean, you must give more than 9 because this is crazy. We could even lose. I don't know. We could lose Neuer, and we must still give it over 5.
Whoa.
That's crazy,
Careful.
dog. Did you see
Honestly,
did you see our Champions League campaign when Ulreich was in goal against Real Madrid?
Shut up! Don't remind me of this.
Spend the wall until I die.
I was concerned about Neuer, by the way, because I thought, what if Guardiola says, "Come on, Neuer, what about you joining us because Ederson is shit, and I want you to play in another league, and we can fight for the Champions League just as much as Bayern can do, right?" I was actually afraid of that. I'm just so happy that he extended.
Yeah.
Anyway,
All right. And now, probably the hardest question. Now that I've gotten all of this nonsense out of the way about, what do you think about this? How would you rate that?
wait, I still have a scenario. Can I go with one?
Go for it.
Okay, just one. Okay, De Ligt joins.
Mhm.
Okay, Laimer joins.
Yep.
Lewandowski leaves.
Okay.
Gnabry extends. This Mbappe guy joins. But
Mbappe
That's the
guy.
bo-
Okay.
I just keep forgetting his name, right? I don't know. Okay, Pavard leaves,
Mhm.
and Sabitzer leaves. So that we signed Konrad Laimer. That means we losing an additional midfielder, but it's Laimer. That means I think we have one less midfielder than last season, right?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. So what would be your rating on that? If
What
Pavard
about Ronaldo?
No, Ronaldo won't join.
Okay.
9.9 still.
Even though Sabitzer leaves and I also
Yeah, I'm okay with
as
that.
much as I like this guy, I don't I don't think he's like that valuable, at least not yet.
I'm
Sabitzer,
gonna be completely honest with you. Whenever I think of the Bayern squad, I don't think of Sabitzer.
No,
Yeah,
I-
true.
Like for me, that's a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd go into a similar direction. 9 out of 10.
I think it's wait, Prince. What would you say is the most realistic one? Can we all rate the window, which is like for us? What we I think we could agree: De Ligt joining, Lewandowski leaving, right? I think Gnabry is tending towards the extension. Ronaldo signing is more of a dream than really.
Yeah.
I mean,
Ooh,
that it's still for me a 9, if I'm being honest.
like the most realistic is De Ligt joining.
Yeah,
I don't think Ronaldo will join.
no.
Same,
Mathys Tel, with that news, I don't think he'll join either. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
he'll be at a fee that Bayern will say that's not worth it. Konrad and Laimer, I think we are gonna get just because there's so much smoke, and usually where there's smoke, there's fire. Pavard, I don't think is gonna get sold. Lewandowski, I think, and I know you'll disagree, but I think the most likely scenario is that we'll keep him.
I don't think we disagree with that. We just don't want that. I think it's also likely. To me, it's 50-50 whether he stays or goes. And every week, I lean towards something else.
I think
But him
I
staying,
think
definitely.
I think Pavard leaving is more realistic because in the tweet it also said Pavard can imagine leaving, and if that
Yeah.
says that he can imagine leaving and Bayern can imagine him leaving, I think they are just looking for a club, or whether he can be used in a swap deal.
Yep.
I think
Wasn't there
him
one
leaving
report
is more.
wasn't there one report saying they would both be like open to extending to with Pavard?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's
Yeah.
either way.
yeah.
Interesting. But yeah, I hope you've all got your tactic sports, your formations, all of that good stuff ready. And if you're watching along in the chat, let us know what your formation would be. I know it's a bit harder to describe in words, but let us know as well. Also be sure to like the video, of course. But what's everyone's formation then for next season? Assuming, again, just the most likely scenario of transfers. So we're assuming that De Ligt stays. Sorry, not stays. That he joins. Ronaldo doesn't. Mathys Tel doesn't. Laimer does, and Pavard stays as well. Lewandowski, for argument's sake, leaves, and Gnabry stays. What's everyone's lineup for next season? Formation, lineups, players, everything. How do we want to do this? Do you want to go one by one, or do you want to like each person goes through that whole team?
Should we do it like last time? We just agree on a formation, then go one by one.
Yeah,
I think it's hard for agreeing on formation in this case because we have like more defenders. If we agree on the formation, we have to do like.
All right, let's just say, do we take 3 or 4 at the back?
Yeah, that's already a big topic. I think everyone should be free to choose.
Each person does their own formation then, and a squad.
All right, everyone does their own formation. Let's start with. Does anyone have their formation already in their head? If so, please be my guest and go ahead. While everyone else still thinks.
So tough, bro. I have no idea what formation.
I have a problem with one player, and that one player in particular, because he must play, but I don't know where. I think you guys can already like guess what am I talking about, because man, no, it's Müller. How should we play Müller if we play 3 at the back? If we play
3 at the back is difficult. So I'll just have a crack at it. I'll still go for a 4-2-3-1.
Okay.
Neuer obviously in goal. Then the centre back pairing of De Ligt and Hernandez for at least at the start of the season. And then King Janzu will take over, obviously.
Okay.
Then on the left side we have Davies, right side Mazraoui. To the midfield pairing would be Kimmich. I'd still have to say Goretzka.
Okay.
Then Müller, Mane and Coman, in attacking midfield, and then as a striker, Gnabry.
I like that actually. Wait, have you watched the Euros when Gnabry had to play as a forward? He wasn't that great, and
No.
I'm always concerned whether we are not overweighting
Yeah,
his striker ability.
in my mind, I see Mane and Gnabry just interchanging positions within the game. And you can just also put Mane in front and Gnabry on the wings. That works just as well. So it's fluent in my dream scenario.
Intriguing. Anyone
What
else? Anyone else?
I'll go 4-2-3-1. I'll do Davies. I'm gonna say Nyanzi De Ligt. Mazraoui.
Woo, let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! I like it.
And then midfield, I'm gonna go Kimmich, Muller, Goretzka, and then the two wide players, Musiala, Gnabry, striker Mane.
Interesting.
So no Coleman.
No, yeah, because
Okay.
I want Musiala to play, and then I think Gnabry has better output than Coman, so I'm gonna do that. And then Key can swap with Mane.
I actually made my mind up. I have an information now,
Go on.
but it's maybe difficult to explain. So I played three at the back actually. I play Lucas, De Ligt, and Upamecano. I go left side Davis, and I go right side go Coleman, because Coleman played that position in the French national team, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I think he's able to play that, but it's just I don't know whether we signed Mazraoui as a like undisputed starter or is he just an option. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe Nagelsmann has other different plans with him than we think. I put Coleman on the right wing, and I would wait. I don't have my formation because I don't know who's left.
All you said is three at the back, and then that was it.
Yeah, I remember I played three at the back. Yeah, I played two central midfielders. I think I would still go with Goretzka and Kimmich, although I think Laimer will get the upper hand at the beginning because Goretzka really wasn't performing that well. And I would go with Müller as a like number 10, right? And go for a double striking position with Mane and Gnabry. That would be my
That's
formation. What did you say?
I said that's very interesting.
Yeah, I just made it up because I wanted to put in all of them. Man, I hate that Musiala doesn't have a starting position, but where should he play? It's hard.
Fascinating.
Well, maybe Muller finally has a season where he starts to die off, but I don't think so. I don't see Muller slowing down that early.
The problem is, even if it's hard to justify, right, for Nagelsmann to put him on the bench and put Musa, even though he deserves it. No, don't get me wrong. I think he totally deserves it. But I think Muller has so much credit that it's hard to replace him in a lineup. You know what I mean? It's like saying, Lewandowski hasn't scored for 5 games, so you start Choupo-Moting. You wouldn't do that. Even if Lewandowski didn't score in 10 games, you would still not start Choupo-Moting. I mean, if Nagelsmann wouldn't and Bayern wouldn't. So
I would.
I think that, yeah, you would, I know. But that's just, I think that's how it is with the starting lineup. It's not really, it's hard to replace some players.
Fair. Who's left?
I think
Hokage.
I would go. The one I was thinking was similar to what you had: 3-5-2. Neuer, De Ligt in the middle, Lucas Hernandez on his left, Pavard to his right, left wing back Davies. I think even though Laimer's coming in, I still think Goretzka Kimmich is the pivot because I don't think there's much of an issue there. I think when we were losing the balls, it was a lot of our just wastefulness and our buildup with our front line. That was the main issue with that. So yeah, the pivot of Goretzka, Kimmich, Muller as an attacking mid, Mane, Gnabry as a double pivot striker partnership, and right wing back. I think
Man,
it's
you can't,
I think
yeah,
Coman.
yeah, you can't bench Coman.
Yeah.
That's the problem. He's been really good last
Yeah.
season.
Yeah.
Nagelsmann waits him. He won't bench him, like at least not as long as he like delivers. So that
Yeah.
was my problem. I like the double strike position thing because it would be different to what Bayern used to play, and I think it could work out actually. I really like that. Okay, I think you're only left. Go ahead.
Oh no, brace yourselves.
He will be put in Bayern's second team.
Look, it's gonna be very simple. I'm actually gonna go speed through it because
Okay,
I've
go
already
ahead.
made my mind up. So in goal, I'll have Ulreich. JK. Now in goal, I have Neuer.
Yeah.
I'll tell you information. It's a 4-2-3-1. Very simple, very classic, very familiar, very traditional. 4-2-3-1. Left back, and I'm changing completely from last week where I played with Davis on the right wing.
Yeah, you
right
played
wing
the
back.
inverted. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna change it completely, just due to our signings. So left back, I have Davis. Two centre back pairings would be at the beginning of the season, and here's the key: at the beginning of the season, it will be Lucas Hernandez and De Ligt, and then towards like the middle / end of the season, it will be Lucas Hernandez and Nianzou.
What?
You would bench the Ligt.
Yeah, I would.
And this man is followed by Aimir Samir. My hero.
You hate
Now,
Lucas
but
Hernandez?
I honestly rate Nianzou. I'm not gonna lie, I do rate him, but then what should happen that he replaces him? Like, let's be in a realistic scenario. What must happen? The Ligt must like be, I don't know, injured.
Injury,
And
yeah.
then Nianzou plays and he actually
No.
performs well, right? Then
No.
could get Okay, go ahead.
No. All that needs to happen, it's very simple actually. Nianzou needs to get rid of his aggressive error proneness. If he gets rid of that, he's a starter above De Ligt. It's really that simple. Basically, if you asked me, right, who's the more complete, who has the highest ceiling between De Ligt and Nianzou, I would say Nianzou's ceiling is top 3 centre backs in the world. De Ligt's ceiling is top 10 centre backs in the world.
I mean, that's not even like it could be the case, but it's hard
And
for
I
him to
think-
reach it.
I think it's very easy for Nianzou to reach it. I think he
Okay.
could reach it by the end of halfway through the season if he gets the playing time.
Wait, one question. What would you rate Mbappe's ceiling in like history of football? Like,
History, no, it's not that high. His ceiling is like that second rank of top tier footballers.
okay.
As in, like, what I mean by that is that he's gonna, by the end of his career, he's gonna have the numbers, and if you only care about the numbers, he's gonna be there. I'm gonna say something controversial now because we talked about him a bit earlier. He's gonna be in that same tier as Ronaldo. So wherever you have Ronaldo on your list, that's where Mbappe is gonna end up at. Whether if you have Ronaldo as the best player of all time, you're gonna think Mbappe is gonna be the best player of all time. If you have Ronaldo, in your top 5, you think Mbappe is gonna be top 5. If you have Ronaldo in your top 10, you think Mbappe is gonna be top 10. So wherever you have Ronaldo, Mbappe is gonna be at. I think that's the easiest way to describe it. So it depends.
Who's your best player of all time?
Mine, Messi, easy.
Yeah. Okay. That's easy.
And I think, again, that's just for me. Like, everyone has their own metrics of how they rank players. So I'm not even gonna get into an argument or anything of that sort. Because one, I don't really care too much, and two, I see it how I call it how I see it. But yeah, 4-2-3-1. As I said, Davis, Lucas Hernandez, Nianzou at the end of the season, beginning of the season, De Ligt, and then right back I have Mazraoui. My two midfielders are going to be Kimmich and Gravenberg.
I like it.
Okay, so you changed it from last week, not last week, but last time. With Musiala there.
Well, I had a different formation last time. That's why
Oh,
I don't.
okay.
I don't trust Goretzka. That was the same point last week. I don't trust Goretzka.
Yeah.
I think if he isn't an undisputed starter next season, we could be looking at selling him. Like, I'm not even serious. We could be getting good money for him.
Yeah. I just simply don't trust him. I don't trust his body to stay fit. I don't trust him to just get right back into it. I like that we have an offensive threat in terms of scoring goals from midfield, but I just don't trust him enough to be a starter, basically. And Kimmich, for me, has to be a starter because he just offers too much in attack and also in balance, even if defensively he doesn't offer that much. Anyway, next up, left wing. This is where it gets difficult. Left wing. I know who. Left wing. I'll play Coleman, Musiala, Mane, and then striker. I'll try Gnabry, but I do expect it to be a failure. And instead, I think halfway through the season, I'll play Müller as a striker.
Breaking news. Bayern, go on your Twitter. I sent it to you.
Let's see.
Sorry, I didn't understand that. What was it?
So my lineup is 4-2-3-1. Davis, Lucas Hernandez, De Ligt. You're confusing me right now. 4-2-3-1, damn it. With left back Davis, right back Mazraoui, and then the two centre backs being Lucas Hernandez and De Ligt. And then halfway through the season, it's going to be Lucas Hernandez and Nianzou. And then you've also got Kimmich, Gravenberg. You've got Coleman, Musiala, Mane, and then Gnabry. Although I do think Gnabry will fail, so halfway through the season, I'll play Müller there as striker. Ooh, nice one, Nagels. All right, breaking news from Sport Build. As always, very reliable. Let me just show you my screen. Just give me 1 second. There we go. It's Aimir Zanmir, the German version of it, who basically quotes Sport Build, who say that, I can just press on translate. Selling Benjamin Pavard is not an issue for Bayern. Both Bayern and Pavard can imagine extending the contract. The Frenchman wants to become the new defensive boss after moving into central defense. So Pavard stays, as a wise man once said. And that wise man was me just now.
Well, guys, say Sky Sport and Kicker both said that he might leave, and now Sport Bild says he would stay. So it's about, I don't know who to trust, honestly.
Well, it's going to be an interesting few days if today is any indication. With the amount of news that we got today, I think we're going to see the same amount of news for the next at least 2 days.
This transfer side is crazy.
I love it.
It is.
Love it.
I think it is the craziest transfer for Bayern fans, at least, in a while, in terms of us getting it done.
I very much agree. But yeah,
I like your lineup. Yeah, I think I'm not sure whether about the Nianzou part, but the rest pretty good. Okay, but can we all agree on one lineup, which is like the most realistic one? We think Nagelsmann will play at the end, or is it unpredictable because of all of these new players and we have no idea what's going on in Nagelsmann's mind? Because I honestly have no idea what's going on in his mind. I think he has like a crazy tactic in his mind.
Okay, the easier question is: do we think a back four or back three?
It's already back three.
I think he'll start off with a back four, maybe then transition. So back 4-2-3-1.
I agree with that.
I think it's a back three, but yeah, we could go with the back four. We believe that.
Okay, back four. It is. Who do we think will be the right back? Because we know who's in goal. Actually, what do we think the formation is? Sorry. What do we think the formation is? So we got a back four. Will we have two in midfield or three?
I don't know. Yeah.
I'll go for a double pivot. I like a 2 in the midfield because I don't think he'll throw in Laimer just at the beginning.
Oh, he might because he's really keen on getting him. And there are reports about him wanting to play the 4-2-3.
I would like that, to be honest. Do you know why? Because we are going to see that Kimmich can, and therefore Bayern can thrive much more if they do have someone who does the dirty work in midfield, and that could show Goretzka that his playing style is not really something we need right now. So maybe he'll adapt, and he'll become more of a defensive player. I would love to see that.
Okay, so
do we agree with the double pivot or do we not?
What is your take? We must also discuss, not just moderate.
Well, I think so, yeah.
Okay. So who is our double pivot?
I think Kimmich is guaranteed.
Yeah, Kimmich is guaranteed. That's
well, we haven't even decided on the centre backs yet, so we're just kind of going through the formation right now. So 4-2. Are we just expecting 4-2-3-1 then, or
yeah.
Okay. With that said, right back, is Mazraoui guaranteed?
If we play 4 at the back,
Yeah.
you know what? No, I think if we play 4 at the back, okay, Mazraoui might be guaranteed. I think Mazraoui is guaranteed in the 3 at the back, but in the 4 at the back, it might actually be Pavard, and we play with this 3 at the back if we have to. You know what I mean? Like we played at the beginning of the season. If you remember when we played Pavard at the right side, but it was if we had in the build-up play, it was a 3 at the back, I believe. It was like this weird where Davis could go up and we play still with 3 central defensive players in the back. If you know what I mean, I think it was the way we built up the start of the last season. Was when Sané used to play more centrally because Davis was running up on the left side. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, we could easily go with Mazraoui. It's fine.
Okay. What does everyone else think? Because I think Mazraoui is going to be basically guaranteed to start.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he starts.
Yeah, he starts.
Yeah, I mean, Nagels makes a good point, but I think Mazraoui will start.
Okay. Our right-sided centre back. Let's just go with the centre back pairing, I guess. Might make things easier.
He'll do Lucas.
Yeah, I was Lucas and De Ligt.
Yeah, we're talking about the start of the season, so I'd also go for Lucas and De Ligt should come.
Because you can't spend like maybe 160 million on 2 centre backs and not have them start. They have
Exactly, that's the point.
Well, my question is, would that be fair on Upamecano then?
No, obviously not. I know it wouldn't be fair.
I mean, football's an unfair sport. It's going to happen.
Interesting.
Man is playing at Bayern. It's not fair. And it's crazy to believe how much we spent.
Okay. Do we?
Yeah, what's your opinion?
Let me ask this question first.
Okay.
Do we think Nianzou has any chance of starting?
Not at the start of the season.
No, yeah.
Yeah, not at the start.
Yeah. There must be an injury and he must perform then, and then he has a good chance of actually like playing more games than last season. Yeah.
I like him a lot, but I don't think Nagelsmann trusts him quite yet. But I think he has a lot of potential.
But he actually also rates him.
The only way Nianzou is going to play is if a certain prince is going to obtain Nagelsmann's nudes. Other than that, he won't play.
He would
Look,
play
do you think Wurzelsberger his new girlfriend. Just became his new girlfriend, just like that. You don't think I've had my hands in there? Made
That's so
that-
crazy.
Oh,
That's so, bro, this is so crazy. She's the one who always asks about COVID question, not one football related question, and Nagelsmann just fell in love with it. Man,
Okay, so we're going with Lucas Hernandez and Pavard. Sorry, Lucas Hernandez and De Ligt double partnership.
yeah,
Yeah,
Left back.
Davies.
Davis.
Okay. The two midfielders.
Kimmich is in. That's a guarantee.
Yep,
I think
agree.
it will be Goretzka at the beginning of the season, even though we signed Laimer. I think Laimer is someone who will be maybe replacing Goretzka. But you know what's crazy about Goretzka? I think he's someone who trains really well, and that's why Nagelsmann always starts him, even though he plays like shit. I think he always repeats it in his press conference, right? He says, "Oh, Goretzka trained phenomenally. He must play stuff." If you watch any of his press conference, he actually says that a lot. I think his training effort gives him somewhat of a starting spot. But yeah, if you guys have another opinions, go ahead.
I
Any
think he'll
chance
start
for?
with-
Sorry,
I
go
think-
on.
I think he'll start with Kimmich, but I think once Goretzka gets injured, I think Leimer's going to cement the spot with Kimmich in a double.
Yeah.
pivot.
Yeah, it's a good take.
Interesting. Okay, my question then would be, does Gravenberg have any chance over Laimer, over Goretzka, over Kimmich?
Oh, it's so difficult. I mean, they all have plans, right? They have plans why they signed Gravenberg,
Mhm.
but they still have plans why they need Laimer, and we still have Goretzka, who's like, he has his name, if you know what I mean. It's what must happen that Gravenberg starts the game?
At least one injury.
Kimmich gets injured.
One injury, right?
If Kimmich gets injured, then it's maybe Leimer and Goretzka.
Next question. Sorry, because it kind of flows along. Is there any chance for Musiala to play there?
What about Sabitzer? Okay,
I forgot about him. I always forget about him.
I'm honest. If Roma pays 50 million, we should be selling him. But that's another
50?
topic. 15.
I think, yeah.
Oh, 15. I was going to say, who's paying 50?
If I mean, if we
Maybe-
don't sell him, I think he'll be in German we say Mädchen für alles. He'll be one of the first substitutes on every position. If Müller gets sick or gets injured within a game, he could come in. If one of the fielders is injured, he comes in. But I don't see him starting at all.
He's-
Maybe in the
he's not-
first difficult game.
He's more of a squad depth player, and if he's okay with that position, let's
Exactly,
keep him.
yeah.
But I think he's too good for that. He's a captain of
Yeah,
the Austrian
yeah.
team, right? He must play regularly. At least in my opinion, he can't play. It's not like he's not that good, but he's proven that it's. I mean, he had this season and he didn't prove it, so it's really hard for him to get back into a spot where you would start some games. But yeah,
It is
Yeah.
extremely frustrating that, when he was in international duty, he played so well.
yeah,
when,
he did.
when it's at Bayern, it just doesn't perform. I
It's
can't
the
think of
RB
a
football. It's the
single
RB
game.
football.
Could be.
Rang plays RB football, and he played RB football at Leipzig. He played RB football at Salzburg, and Bayern plays differently, and maybe he can't adapt to that. I just just made it up. Honestly, I don't have any. But yeah, let's go on. What is your opinion? What must happen you have Gravenberg in your starting lineup, right?
Yeah.
To make that actually realistic, there must be more than just injuries of one player. Because if one player is injured, that's still Laimer and Sabitzer who's fighting with Gravenberg for that position.
Okay, Gravenberg is ahead of Sabitzer, and in my opinion, he's also ahead of Laimer, just but not by much. So if he plays a bad game, I think Laimer will start the following one. But for me, he is just ahead of Laimer. So that's why for me he starts. Because again, I don't count Goretzka because I can't rely on Goretzka. That's what it boils down to for me. I can't rely on him to be fit. It's like same with the Tolisso argument that like we've had all these years. We're like, if Tolisso is fit, he can give Goretzka a good fight for midfield, and then both of them are never fit. So that's why I don't count on them anymore. They're just like they're the icing on the cake. If they're fit, amazing. If they're healthy, amazing. But I'm not expecting them to be, unfortunately.
Okay, yeah.
Left winger. Who do we think should be the left winger?
I don't know. It's difficult.
I mean,
Maybe
Coman played
Yeah,
it.
I think Coman.
Isn't Coman right? Ah, okay. Playing left.
Yeah, I could get confused all the time as well. I have no idea who plays on which side.
For me, left wing, the right wing, left wing striker is completely like it could be changed every game.
Okay.
I don't and I haven't given up on Zane yet. Like not entirely, please. I think I just saw a tweet. He won 3 Player of the Month in a row, which is crazy to believe now because he's so shit the last half of the season. But he was really good at the beginning. And
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I've given up on him. I've completely given up on him.
And yet you refuse to give up on Nianzou. Interesting.
Well,
yeah, because Leandro is 19 and hasn't got a chance to prove himself.
Exactly.
While Sané actually played like...
And he won't, inshallah.
He played like every game, bro. So Sané really had the chance and didn't use it.
Like if Sané got as many minutes as Nianzou did, right, and played as bad as he did, I would still be in the Sané camp, just chanting his name, hoping for him to play. But he's had basically in the 2 years that he's been here, right? How many good games has he actually had? How many world-class games has he actually had? Not just world-class moments, right? Because I think people will say, oh, he played, the game against Salzburg in a Champions League where he came on in like the 60th minute and then got like 2 goals. Okay, that was against a tired Salzburg that ran the whole game, then got tired, and he just came on and just showed up for like 10, 20 minutes, and that was it.
And I think we were already leading like 4 or 5-1.
It was a crazy game, that one. Yeah. So I'm sorry, like 90 minutes. How many games where you could be like, that right there, that was one of those games. Besides the Schalke game on the very first match day, against a Schalke, that got pumped 8-0. Come on. That didn't even fight. They didn't even show up. They literally just they put 11 fake players on the pitch, pretended that those were the actual players, and while the actual players were at home watching the game on TV. Like, how many world-class games has Sané actually had at Bayern? Honestly. Considering that he basically starts every single game. If you ask me about Gnabry, I can tell you world-class games that Gnabry has had. If you ask me about Lewandowski, I can tell you world-class games. If you ask me about Müller, I can tell you world-class games. If you ask me about Coman, I can tell you world-class games. If you ask me about Kimmich, I can tell you world-class games. Goretzka, I can tell you about the whole squad when they had world-class games. Sané, I can't think of a single one.
7-1 against Freiburg.
Against who?
Freiburg.
Freiburg with the Wiesenkick.
No, that was against Bochum.
Bochum, sorry. Bochum.
Because
Not
we
Freiburg.
haven't beaten
Why is it
Bayern.
always against relegation candidates, though? Why is it not against a normal team? Middle of the Bundesliga, not a team like Schalke or Bochum that gets relegated. Why is it not in like a 1-0 situation or 2-0 situation?
To be fair, who are like, I think there's like this top 4 in the Bundesliga, and then the rest is really not that good.
Oh, absolutely. I 100% agree with you. But there's still a significant difference between relegation candidates and middle of the Bundesliga team.
Yeah. I mean,
But yeah, sorry, that's just my rant on Sané. It's why I've given up on him.
But what should we do?
Sell him.
You give him this year. If he has a shit year, next year you sell him.
I mean, I would honestly, I think they are thinking about selling him this year, but it's hard for them to not to justify, but to find someone suitable. I think
You know
Man
what
City fans would still take him, but
No, they wouldn't. You know what I would do though? I'd hit up Juventus. I'd be like, yo, instead of signing Di Maria, here, have Sane for the Ligt. And see whether they bite. But anyway, so who do we decide on left wing? Coleman.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can just go. Come on.
Okay. Central.
Müller.
I want Musiala, but yeah, Müller.
Come on, Musiala. Have some faith in the boy. Right wing.
Nabry.
Mane or Nabry. Okay.
How would you rate Musiala in a top under 20 players? Which how many are better than him?
1.
Who is
2.
it? Okay.
Let's see. 1, 2. 2. I want to say. Let me just double check on the age of Haaland.
No, he's 21 or 20.
21. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it just 1? Am I missing someone?
Is it Wirtz?
Yeah. But I'm not sure if I'm missing someone.
There's Pedri, but I don't think he's better.
No, definitely not.
Well, Barca fans will say so.
Barca fans, they'll say that Ter Stegen is the best goalkeeper. We've seen that for years. Their opinions doesn't matter.
Their statue. What about Bellingham as a
No.
fellow England?
No, he's good, but not like that.
Yeah, he's not like that. I'd even have... how old is Sancho? Sancho is like 22 as well. Or something.
Oh, man wasted his entire career by going to Manchester United. I can't. This guy.
But there's not that... I can't think of that many. Under 20 specifically, I can't think of that many. Let's think. Just give me a second and I'll think. Nah, I don't think there's anyone besides. The only one that's better is Wirtz.
But
Yeah. And I've got extremely high hopes for Mukoko, but he's not better as of yet.
Vinicius Junior, maybe.
No.
Just naming up some.
Vinicius is 20 or 21, isn't he?
He's
He's
20.
he's already 20. Okay. Ansu Fati, is he old?
No.
Even when he was playing in fit, I wouldn't say he was better. Whereas with Wirtz, you could say, yeah, he was definitely better. But there's no one else that I can be like, yeah, that person was better. Actually, you know what? Alfonso, how old is Alfonso?
He's 20, isn't he?
He's 20 now, but
21. Okay, he's not. No. In that case, Musiala is third best.
wait, third?
Third.
Yeah, who did you miss?
Number 3, Musiala. Number 2, Wirtz. Number 1, Nianzou.
Uh,
All right. Anyway.
Man, I actually rate you I think you have good knowledge of football. So I believe that he's good, but let's see whether you overweight him or he's really that good.
When it comes to youth players, honestly, I've got the worst track record in the world. When it comes to youth players that I really, really like, they always end up bad. But when it comes to youth players that I just like, they always end up amazing. I hate it. So when I truly rep someone, it goes horribly wrong. The last player that I truly, truly repped was Mario Götze.
Oh no!
But to be honest, everyone did. So
Everyone.
I know everyone did, but I was like a Götze fanboy. I was just there watching every interview. If he was just training, I would watch him. Even
do you guys you guys remember, because the news breaking that he was going to sign for Bayern is one of the few moments in my football watching life that I exactly remember where I was, because it was so significant for me. Because like he was the player that was the most exciting transfer ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was the most chased player in the world. Like, not even joking.
Him
He was
and
also
was Golden Boy.
him and where?
Neymar. And
Yeah,
it's great.
exactly.
The thing is, Götze won the Golden Boy over Neymar. That tells you everything.
That crazy. And we got him. And we got him only because of Pep, to be honest, but still, we got him.
Yeah.
That was the biggest fail in terms of me repping a player.
Nah, I'm
Ever.
so mad.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. If I rep a player, like I rep Mukoko hard, and now he's not getting a game for Dortmund, I'm there like a clown watching every single Dortmund game every single week.
Nah, no way you're. That's torture, bro. That's torture. Wait. If you watch every Dortmund game, right? Did they fire Marco Rose for a reason, or was it like, is it dumb?
They didn't have a play style, and they conceded more goals than I think like Kräuter Fürth.
Yeah.
So they were just an odd team. Like they were better the season before, where Terzic just came in for a few games, and that's why they decided to get him and stick with him, because there was no identity to their team. It was basically just rely on their individual quality, and obviously that's not good enough.
They played well when Terzic coached them against Man City, I believe. They could have advanced with a little bit more luck, which is crazy. But yeah, let's see how they go. The player I rep the most, and who's not playing for Bayern right now, is Wirtz, and he got injured. Honestly, I know exactly when he got injured. I never felt so emotional for a non-Bayern player. Man, he was about to cry, boy. It was so sad.
The funny thing is, I was just starting to rep him as well. Because I was like, for the longest, I was like, no, I won't.
Can you stop repping him, please?
I won't. And then I was like, oh, you know what? I really, really like him. 2 weeks later, he gets injured. I'm like, bro, why does this keep happening to me? Why?
Did you watch an interview by Wirtz? All of my friends saying he sounds like an Hauptschüler. Because he does, right?
I have no idea. I've never heard him.
Now watch this interview. He really speaks like someone who's like
Podolski.
How to say that? He's not that intelligent, if you know, but I think he is. But he sounds very weird.
Is he on a Podolski level, or is he still above that?
What would you say, Prince?
Equal.
Yeah, I would. Just by his voice, I would even say he's a level lower. But yeah, I still love him. I don't care.
But yeah, just to go back, who's our striker?
Napoli. No, Sane. Mane is left, right?
Yeah.
Well, didn't we have Mane at right wing, or what? Who did we have a right wing?
Oh,
we didn't even. I don't think we agreed to it. It was either Gnabry or Mane.
Who's we? We didn't say anything, right?
Yeah,
I think
we decided on Müller, and then we had the whole Musiala discussion. So who's our right wing?
Honestly, either Gnabry or Mane.
Yeah.
And the other position, the striking position, would be taken over by the other one, respectively.
But what about Lewandowski?
Fuck Lewandowski.
You said that he would be leaving, right?
Okay, did I? Okay, cool.
But
what about
even if
what about Chupo?
Shut up, Chupo. I really don't like this guy. I think he's only there for
Chupo Moting.
No, I have no respect for this guy.
You have no respect for him.
Nah, okay, that's a bit harsh, but I like. It's not that he's my favorite player. No, definitely not.
I think I appreciate him for doing the job every time he comes on. Whenever I see him warming up, I'm like, oh, okay, game's done in terms of entertainment. But he always surprises me. He always is a good link-up play. He always scores at least a goal or gets an assist. So he's a really good backup.
I don't know, but every time he comes on, it's like because we are desperate, and at this time, I'm just not that happy. You know, that's why I don't.
Do you know why? because whenever he's brought on alongside Zaha.
Yeah, or he's brought on because we are behind and we need some goals, right? And at that time, I don't connect that.
All right, so we've got our squad then. Let's just agree on the right wing position and the striker position, because obviously we said, Mane, Gnabry on one and then the other on the other. But let's just agree on who's the right wing.
Gnabry then, because I think Sané, when he played on the wing, he played left wing, right?
Yeah, he can only play left wing.
Yeah, that's why Gnabry is right wing and.
We didn't decide on Sané. We decided on
He needs
Coman.
Mane.
Well, I always switch them up. Mane.
Just wait until we get Kane, and then we get Kante,
Imagine if we went for
and then we get Bante. I don't know. Just wait. That's what we're going for. That's our ultimate goal, to have a team filled with just to mess commentators up. But yeah, we've got our team, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I don't know when next time we're having a discussion like this. I do appreciate everyone for joining. It was quite long. I expected this one honestly to be like an hour long or so, but they always end up being like 3 times that. If anyone has any closing remarks, go ahead, say those. If you want to plug yourself, go ahead, plug yourself. Shout out. Where do you want people to find you, to follow you, to view your visions, your art, your I don't know.
I don't have, but I have a question for you guys. That's one question. Let's imagine you are a youth player, right? You're playing in Germany. You're playing for some club like Stuttgart, right? You're like 16, 17 years old.
Yeah.
Bayern?
Nope.
Bayern talks to you and wants you at their club.
Nope.
You're 16, 17 years. You are a prospect. You are really good. Would you join Bayern knowing their situations with youth players and their lack of really youth players striking through and getting a starting position? Musiala being really one of the, let's say, Ausnahme. I don't know what.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Do I get the Brazil PowerPoint presentation or not?
You are actually so good that you get the PowerPoint presentation. And the PowerPoint presentation.
So did Wanda, I think.
Yeah, they showed it to Wanda, bro. That means nothing. But yeah, you get the PowerPoint presentation, and they tell you how you are a right wing, and they tell you how you will replace Gnabry after his prime is over, and you will be taking over his position and stuff. They will be telling you.
You even get to meet Nick Salihamidzic.
Yeah, well, that is.
He's in America, though.
But no, the point I'm trying to make is, I know for a fact that youth players are better off probably with joining a club like Dortmund than Bayern. And the example is, let's see, someone like Bellingham or Sancho. They joined Dortmund knowing they can use Dortmund as a, let's say, stepping stone, right? They get playing minutes and they can show how good they are. At Bayern, you don't get those chances. It would be really hard for someone like Bellingham to come to Bayern and get a starting position with 18, right? If we have someone like Goretzka and Kimmich and other players in there, Thiago back then, it's really hard for them. But at a club like Dortmund, their players are not that good. If you're playing good, you will be starting every game. So I'm asking, a youth player, are we actually a club for youth players, or should we go for let's say, more finished players, or at least players who get the chance to play in the get more playing minutes and don't lead this development? If you understand my question, I always ask myself whether I would join Bayern if I was a youth player who would be talented enough to play for a Bundesliga side, but still join Bayern.
I'm going to let everyone else go first, just because I'm going to give the same answer I gave last week.
Yeah, we had this discussion last week.
No,
Okay.
but we had a similar discussion. But I can give the same answer that makes the exact same point and that answers that question.
Yeah, go ahead, Daniel. Or Tusa. Okay.
I would not go to Bayern with that.
Yeah, me neither.
That's because how are you going to get in there? Where it depends on your position, obviously. I mean, if you're a right back, you have a slightly higher chance than, say, in midfield, where you're going to have no chance. So I just go for a good Bundesliga team, and then just when they're about to hit the peak and when they're about to rival Bayern Munich, I will go to Bayern Munich just to spite the fans.
Okay, Daniel.
I'm definitely not going. Like, I don't see enough for them to like play youth players consistently. The only way I would go is if they give me the Fiat ARP salary. If they do that, I'll go instantly.
Yeah, good point.
True.
Okay, Prince, go ahead.
Well, it's quite simple actually. I'm going to give the same answer I gave last week to a different question, but that has the same outcome. Bayern is not a club for youth players to develop in. So it depends what club I am. You said Stuttgart. If I'm at Stuttgart, I won't go. If I am at PSG, if I am at Ajax, if I am at Salzburg, I will go. Because at those clubs, I'm already used to the expectations of pressure, the expectations of performing from game one. And if I go to Bayern, one, I get a significantly higher salary than I would at Dortmund, Schalke, so on and so forth. Two, even if I don't make it, I still have that on my CV that I went to Bayern. And just being able to train with the best players, getting to see their mentality. If I make the right moves and it rubs off on me, I can make it at a tier 2 club. And the examples I would have in mind would be Højbjerg. Højbjerg didn't make it at Bayern. He's now at Tottenham. Like a tier 2 club, like a tier 2, tier 3 club like them. I would look at that and be like, that's where I can go, even if I don't make it. But if I was at Ajax or PSG, I would go to Bayern because I'm already used to the expectations of performing, which I will have had through the youth team as well. And thus I would back myself because I would assume that I would have that mentality to know that I need to perform. If I'm at Stuttgart though, no, I'm not going there. Nah, I'm not going there. I'm going to France. I'm chilling in France. I'm going, I don't know, I'm going Rennes. People are going to call me the next Mbappe. They're going to call me Tel, and I'm going to be the next Mbappe. Oh.
Prince, there's still development in.
I know, I've seen it.
Which is crazy because the fees are getting out of hand for me. Actually,
3-digit.
digit. Nah, bro, that's a little bit too much. You gotta chill. What?
And the most important part actually is this part. I'll show this very quickly before we end this stream. It's this part specifically about so the whole tweet is this: Chelsea are offering 70 plus 10 million for Matthijs de Ligt, too low for Juventus. Meanwhile, Bayern are offering a low guaranteed fee but more in add-ons, which makes it close to Chelsea's offer. Juventus are holding out for a 3-digit million fee. Now, my opinion, this is the important thing. Both De Ligt and Juventus want the player's future sorted as soon as possible, preferably before he resumes training on July 10th. This, to me, is very key.
Well, that means in the next days. Yeah.
Yeah, because that means Lewandowski potentially being sold. That's not going to be part of this because we're not going to sell Lewandowski in, 6 days. That's not going to happen. There's going to be a lot of back and forth with us and Barcelona if he does leave. So this just I don't know how credible the source is, I will say. But
not even Fabrizio follows this guy.
Fabrizio is a fraud anyway.
Yeah, he is, but he does follow some journalists, right? And if he doesn't even follow this guy, I don't know.
That's how you know that guy isn't credible, because all Fabrizio does is just follow the credible local journalists and just copy what they write. Nothing against Fabrizio. He just put that. The thing is, the good thing about him is I don't need to follow all the local journalists because I could just follow him and I get the same news. I just think he's made a name for himself by literally just stealing other people's work. So that's the one thing I don't like. But hey, it is what it is. People, gotta make their money. Technically, I'm stealing all the journalists' works as well and presenting them as information right here. So who am I to say anything? I'm just a hypocrite. With that said, though, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure, I don't know about all of you, but I'm sure there's gonna be development within the next 3 days. I honestly don't see any way where we don't hear constant daily rumors and daily talks and daily discussions about all of this. So I don't know about you lot, but if you're interested, to have another discussion like this soon, aka I do think there's going to be significant development this week, maybe end of the week if people are available, but I don't know about you lot. I don't know about my schedule either, to be fair. So I just think there's going to be a lot of development this week if people are interested in talking about that. But with that said, I think it's time to wrap it up. We've been here long enough. We've talked about all the news, including the Ronaldo news, which I know a lot of people would have been very interested in. We didn't talk about replacements for Ronaldo, which I did want to do.
I sent you an interesting tweet. Gotta read that. That's really interesting. That's a player from Hertha BSC. He tweeted that.
Interesting. Basically, to translate it, under 19 player for Hertha Berlin basically said, how would I translate this on the fly? Bayern is extremely annoying. I'm going to translate it verbatim, basically. Bayern is extremely annoying. In the under 13s, they tried to get me and a few other players. They called every 2 weeks. They called my mother every 2 weeks and asked them to at least look at the project that they presented. So Bayern is persistent, even under 13, which I don't believe you're allowed to do. You're not allowed to really sign players until they're, I want to say, 15? I'm not 100% sure, but something like that. Anyway, I do want to wrap it up here. I do have things to do tomorrow. I need to get up early, as I always do every day, so it's actually not that much of a difference, really. But thank you, everyone, for watching. Also, thank you, everyone, for being here. If you want to shout out where they can find you or not, it's all up to you. I'll leave it up to you. But at least from me, it is a good bye from me. And if you lot have anything to say, go ahead and either say goodbye or shout yourself out. Let the people know where they find you if that's what you're after. If you're an artist, let them know where they can find your art, etc., etc.
All right, so I just thought, thanks for having me. It was lovely as always. This time we managed to have the stream under 4 hours of length. I think next time it'll be even shorter and even more concise and efficient. And if anyone has followed my tweet to this stream, thank you for watching, I guess. And yeah, see you next time, hopefully.
Yeah, thank you for having us on.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Also, thank you for having me. Just glad that we could talk about this stuff because it was quite overwhelming today. But I think we sorted it good. We had a good discussion at least, and I hope Manchester United fails as a club. But yeah, that's just my wish.
Oh my. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you everyone for watching. If you're watching the VOD afterwards, once we're not live anymore, also do want to just let you know, smash that like button. If you're still watching it live, also smash that like button. I don't really care too much, if I'm being completely honest, really. But it is what it is. I'm also thinking, and this is just a thought, I am thinking of, just because the World Cup is this year, this year, at the end of this year, I am thinking of doing, if people are interested, I don't know, and this goes to the comment section, everyone who's watching either live or on VOD, and it also goes to you three that are currently still in here. During the World Cup, I'm thinking of doing, not maybe daily, but weekly discussions just in regards to the World Cup and who's playing, so on and so forth. If that's something that people are interested in, just because it's in winter and I feel like people have more time during the winter, but I'm not actually sure. But yeah, that's just food for thought, I guess. And with that said, as always, people, you can rate, comment, favorite, subscribe, the good stuff that nobody really cares about, but people just say for the sake of it. And I'll see all of you in the next one. Until then, peace out, and as always, see ya.